I don't have friends. I got family.
This is Steve Downs, the voice of Master Chief, Sierra 117. And you're watching Xbox Ultimate. Now, finish the fight. Chief out.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Xbox Ultimate. This is episode number 48, and we are live here to have some fun with the Magnificent Seven and two amazing guests. Lots of fun things to talk about. We got Kojima stuff. We got, hey, we're going to talk a little bit about PlayStation, which is kind of unusual for us, but there's some comparisons sakes that we need to make. We can talk about Xcloud, the Ascent. If we have enough time, maybe a little bit more Halo Infinite, but like, I want to thank everybody in the chat. We got a lot of people here early, already ready for the show in the chat today. It is amazing. I see everybody's excited and hyped and ready to go. This is, I think, first time in a few weeks we've had the whole seven together, so it's amazing as well. So shout out to our whole family here. Plus, we have two amazing guests today. Now, one person I've had the opportunity to podcast with a few times, and then the other person here is getting acclimated and new to podcasting, period. I've seen him on one show and he did a good job there. And hey, why not have him on our show as well, because he's been an awesome supporter and also always hanging out in the chat and amazing dude in the community. But we'll introduce him first because I had asked him first, and he actually alerted me that Asa was maybe possible to come on the show. So I want to give a shout out to C Unit, Chris Jones. Thank you for coming onto the show today. What's going on, dude?
A lot. I want to say thank you for having me on the show. It's a privilege to be on a show with such great people for my second one. And you guys are all great. I've been watching for a while. The legendary Pong Soul, Mr. RDX.
Oh, legendary.
And I want to say thank you for that video you put together for the big community thing. I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I've told you about this. I watch like 20 to 30 something podcasts a week, and I've watched a lot of videos this year. And your video with the community before E3, by far the best video I've seen all year.
Oh, wow, man. That means a lot, dude. 100%, because that was kind of like a passion project. So, hey, speaking of that video, though, somebody that was in that video, and I don't know how many things you got right, Asa, but maybe a couple. Everybody, please welcome from GameOnDaily, a Go Live podcast from GameOnDaily, Mr. Asa.
Thanks for that. I'm actually like, you probably know me from podcasts. You actually know my name is Asa, but actually most people that I meet, like 99%, do go with Asa as a first option. So it's like,
really,
when you said it as a joke earlier, it didn't even register to me that you were doing that on purpose. Yeah, of course. No, it's great. You know, I normally pop in here. It's 2 a.m. on a Friday that your show is. I usually try and pop in, catch a little bit of it, and then like fall asleep. So hopefully that won't happen today. Hopefully I'm going to stay awake for the whole thing because I'm kind of on it. So yeah, it's good. Looking forward to it. It's great.
Yeah, it's like I've been on your show a few times. Y'all are gracious enough to invite me, so it's awesome to have you here with us as well, man. So I'm looking forward to it. We got some interesting topics today, and I was actually watching you stream a little bit earlier, and I think there's some cool stuff for us to talk about because I think you may have some opinions on some of this stuff. But we also have the Magnificent Seven, our family, here as well. Hi, everybody. It's amazing. We'll start with first in my heart, my lovely wife, Kaitlin. Hey, baby, how's it going?
Psycho's waving as you say first in my heart.
First in my heart, Psychonauts. Yeah, he's on something right now, I think.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Just look at him.
Then we have Assassin Lupa. Hey, Lupa, how are you?
Hello. So great to be here. It's going to be an awesome night. The Magnificent Seven together. It's Friday. Friday. Let's go, baby.
I didn't even realize that, lady. All the girls are on the bottom.
That's okay.
Psycho.
Speaking of girls on the bottom, we also have Lady AF here. Hey, lady, how's it going?
That was weird, honestly. Girls on the bottom and then saying, okay. No, it's going well. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited for Friday. Yeah, I'm excited to talk all of the great topics that we're gonna have. I'm excited to have Asa here and Chris. my boy
Regret.
Chris. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Then we have the three guys.
Those dudes.
Yeah, no, we got Psychonauts, the mellow fellow from outer space. What's up?
What's up, man?
We
Don't
got-
mind me.
Outer
I'm ready.
space line
He's
has
still
been
in
more
orbit.
true.
yeah,
I'm just getting ready for the weekend.
He had a
so
good
you
night
guys
last
don't
night.
mind me, all right?
he had a good night last night. He's in a good mood today.
A late night.
Okay, interesting.
Ooh.
And we have our dude 3Bet. What's up, man? How's it going?
Hey guys, how's it going? Good to see Chris and Asa on here. We got some good topics, and let's get into it. I'm trying to hype myself up. I'm kind of tired.
You've been teaching all day.
Yeah, I had 5 classes today, so
Holy
Wow.
shit.
that was interesting. So
Yeah, I'm sure that's exhausting. So we'll see. I think you're gonna get amped up on some of these topics. And then we have the encyclopedia of knowledge of video games from all time, going back to the very first video game ever made, the one, the only, Pong Soul. How's it going, Pong?
I'm never gonna live up to that. You know this.
Yeah.
Never ever. No, I appreciate it. It's Friday, everybody. I'm here with the family. We got Chris Jones here. We got Asa here, of course, from GameOnDaily. Hey, if you guys have not gone and check out GameOnDaily yet, they are criminally underappreciated. You guys need to go over there and check him and Gaz out. That awesome site, awesome channel. So go check them out. But man, what a great night. And we've got the entire Magnificent Seven back together again. It's so unreal. Again, as we always talk about, when one's missing, we all feel it. So it's nice to have everybody here. I'm hyped. Let's go. It's Friday night. Let's talk some games.
Let's talk some games. Let's talk some Xbox, right? So this kind of came out, and today, was it today that they announced the Ghost of Tsushima thing on PlayStation, right? So,
That's true.
So I know it's an Xbox podcast, but it got me kind of thinking, because we were DMing each other and stuff about this, and the Ghost of Tsushima, like, extra content on PlayStation sounds awesome, right? All of that stuff, but there was a caveat that's pales in comparison to what Xbox has been doing, and it makes me still think that, like, this whole feature is kind of super underappreciated, and that feature I'm talking about is smart delivery, because what they're doing with a very popular game, I'm gonna end up getting this thing, right? I can't help it. I already own Ghost of Tsushima. It was my game of the year last year, but to lock a upgrade to next gen that you have to pay for $10 behind DLC. So basically, you have to buy $20 of DLC to even have access to upgrade your copy to the PS5 version for an additional $10. One thing is, with the comparison to Xbox, you don't have to pay for upgrades, because guess what? PC players don't also have to pay for upgrades to their games. If you improve your hardware, you get the improvements, right? So not only do you have to pay for it for an additional $10, but it's also locked behind downloadable content. So that's kind of what really throws me off. It's like, let's say you did one or the other, right? But doing both, it ends up making it seem like it's a $30 package to upgrade your game to PS5. So I'm curious, actually, what Asa's thoughts are on this, because we were kind of starting to discuss it a little bit in his chat earlier when he was streaming some Evil Within 2, dude. So Xbox, is it underappreciated with what's going on with other platforms?
Underappreciated is getting more and more appreciated. People are certainly noticing now. The Ghost of Tsushima thing, it's a massive multiple ways. So obviously there's the smart delivery thing that people on Xbox, we're all familiar with. You fire up your console and you've got the right version of the game. And there's a technical side of that where on the PlayStation, maybe you're on your PlayStation 5 and you don't realize that you're actually playing a PlayStation 4 version. That's a mess in itself. Then you got the kind of greed of charging for these things. So if there's an expansion coming out for an Xbox game like Hivebusters, the only question that you've got as an Xbox player, you know you're getting the upgrades for free, you know you're getting the rest of it. You're not necessarily sure that the downloadable content will be included on Game Pass. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. That's the only question that you've got. And then you got Sony. So I was on Boomstick's podcast earlier, and they had a similar conversation where they were talking about how confusing the messaging is, how they've announced an expansion pack, and within the announcement there are 4 different price points.
Right.
And then this person has come up in the comments saying, I don't understand why people are confused. All it is, and then he's written a paragraph explaining it. It's like, there's your answer. That's why people are confused. It's a mess.
Yeah. It's one thing, okay, you have, it's similar with moving your saves over sometimes, right? That's another one of the Xbox features that is like highly underappreciated, is just the cloud saves and how they just automatically work, not only for the different versions of games, but also for if you play on different places, right? Your save is just always there. And then you combine that with always getting the best version for whatever system you're playing on, no matter what. It kind of, it breeds to the fact that Xbox is going for this multiple device ecosystem, that it makes it easy for anybody to just boot it up and it's automatic, right? So not only is it more convoluted on the PlayStation side, but it's also more expensive, right? So
it is more expensive. The only thing that I will say on that, I don't want to cover the whole thing off, and there's so many people here, but the only thing about the pricing is you could argue that Ghost of Tsushima it's got no microtransactions in it. So in terms of actually charging for an upgrade, it's kind of understandable. If they weren't charging for it, it's not like they'd be delivering it at all. Whereas on the Xbox side, if it's something like Gears, they're not charging for it, but they are extending the revenue that game's going to make by working on it. So they're continuing the revenue stream just by delivering things. It's going to get attention, it's going to get people on the game, and that's where they get money. Ghost of Tsushima is a little bit different. You can kind of understand they put work into it and they're not going to recoup anything otherwise. But yeah, they've made a mess of it.
Yeah,
and the messaging is all over the place.
I mean, was it Doom Eternals had an optimized patch, and there's no microtransactions in that. So, that's the one thing with the PS5, with they're charging $10 for an upgrade, which they already got it's already 4K dynamic on PS5 with 60 frames. So what is that $10 extra for the PS5 for? I mean, other than the rubble and the adaptive trigger functionality, but that should be free. I mean, that's a lot of that. It's just, I don't know. I don't like them charging the extra $10.
Yeah, well, it's not even just that; it's that they're locking it behind DLC. And so it's like, it's if they just, I could say at least they're not making me buy the whole game over again, right? With a $10 add-on, which is something they have done in the past as well, right? And that was last gen, like definitive editions, $50, buy the whole thing over again, right? And now at least I could make a case and say, well, maybe it's okay for $10 add-ons, but when you then lock it even behind DLC, it's like, okay, so you kind of are making me buy something else to get it, even if you're not making me buy the whole game over again. Like I already own Ghost of Tsushima. I should have the choice whether I want to purchase the DLC or not if I want the better version of my game, right? So that's the one thing that's been throwing me off. And I know, like, we'll get to you in a second, Chris, too, because I want your opinion on this. But I want to ask Lady first, because we were in the DMs today talking about this, and you actually were kind of like on the fence on one side of this, and then you read more about it, and you kind of like, I think, had a change of your opinion on that. So like, what was going like through your mind on like where you are with this right now?
Well, originally when I saw it, I saw a lot of, happy people on my feed, like, woohoo, we're getting all this new content on, the game. And it's a game I've never played. It's one of those games that I wish I had a PlayStation to play. And I plan on playing it once I get a PlayStation 5. And I thought that I thought it was a you were getting the game for like $10. You could just upgrade and you were going to get everything for it. And then I found out it was $30 to go from PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5. And I was like, oh shit, I thought it was just $10. Like that's definitely a little off-putting. Getting, you know, especially if you've already have the game on one system and then you're going up $30 for an expansion, because basically that's what you're paying for. You're paying for an expansion. So I mean, $30 for an expansion isn't unheard of, but I just feel like that extra $10 boost is just a little bit too much. Like Psycho said, I don't understand why we're having that $10 difference. But originally I was like, yeah, no, that's fine. Like, you know, fucking $10 for an expansion, whatever. That's not that big of a deal. It's a whole, you know, upgrade, everything. But no, then I read into it more and then I heard Bad Bit talking on it and I was like, oh no, this is definitely not exactly what I thought it was. So
Yeah.
yeah, my bad.
So
But yeah,
Chris,
no.
did you see that news today? What were your thoughts on that, man?
I did. I actually heard Luca and BitCloud Gaming talk about it on Luca's Scum for One last night at work. And it's just very confusing. It's bad consumer practices just to charge for a small feature like that. Yeah, I'll charge for the expansion. I mean, everybody's going to buy expansions for games that they play, but don't charge for an upgrade like that. It's just a big corporation being greedy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it is crazy because $20 for the expansion that you get on the PS4 is understandable, you know, and it's just I think everyone's like I said, it's a $10 increase for a PS5, but what added features are you justifying that $10 for? And they don't have other than just controller features that you get, and that's it. And that's definitely not worth it. So.
And I don't want to make this about like a PlayStation bashing thing, right? It's more about like smart delivery was like criticized when it was first announced, right?
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, smart delivery, that sounds stupid. What do you mean? Why does anybody even need this feature, right? And we're seeing more and more, like also like Greedfall was another one, you know, so then the Doom Eternal, and now then you see those two drop in the same week, right? On Xbox Game Pass, actually, where you don't even have to buy the game, period, but you also then get the upgrades. And then on another platform side, you see this method. So it's like a big, it's something that's a fair comparison, I think. What were you gonna say, Asa?
Oh, just like you were there, just to reframe it slightly though. So when you look at Sony, they look really bad at the moment, only because we're comparing them with Xbox.
Yeah.
If you took Xbox out of the equation and you were looking at what Sony are doing relative to Nintendo or even to previous generations of consoles, they're actually not doing anything all that bad. They're doing what would be expected from most companies. I mean, if it was Nintendo, you'd be having to buy amiibos to get all of the hats and skill sets or whatever on the side, right? So Sony are doing, it's confusing and it's archaic, but it's what we would have had in previous generational Switches. What's going on here is Microsoft and Xbox are just doing a hell of a lot right, and it's making other people look bad, and they're falling short of that. Yeah. So being an Xbox podcast, that's a nice way to frame it. Like, good job, Xbox.
Yeah, exactly.
I definitely got spoiled with smart delivery, because now I have that mindset that, oh, we're getting this stuff at no charge, and while Sony's doing it for, you know, a price. And so that, I mean, that's where I think all Xbox gamers are coming from. You know, we just see what Xbox is doing, and it's like, this is a great way to do it. And, you know, we just expect Sony to try to do it, but they can't.
Yeah, is it a matter of if they can't, or do we just think they don't want to? Like, I mean, and that maybe that's a question for 3-bit, because on the dev side, right? Like, it is a little different on the Xbox dev kits, right, as opposed to PS4 and PS5s. Is there a reason that maybe it is more work or something where they need to charge for it?
I just think it's a little bit harder to if you're building a game from the PS4 and then you're bringing it to the PS5 as well. It's just a little bit more difficult. We've seen that in several games so far, right? Biomutant was one of them. But I think if any If anything, people who are sort of downplaying the smart delivery system, I think for the most part, we can all see the potential coming out of it from Microsoft's side. You have Sony being one of the leads to pushing to raising the price point of games to $70, as well as like EA, right? While Xbox and Microsoft, they are aiming to make games a little bit more accessible, not only through Game Pass, which is fantastic. We've seen the memes, right? But their games are pretty much staying at the price point of 60. And a good example of this is like most first-party games, Sony games releasing, like the release of Ghost of Tsushima is going to be 70, and some other ones, while their other exclusive, Deathloop, right, which is underneath the Microsoft umbrella, is releasing for 60 on Microsoft's or underneath Sony's PS5. So
yeah.
Then you have like Microsoft's first party lineup, right? You have all these different games coming in from Microsoft's side, like Halo Infinite releasing for 60, Flight Simulator releasing for 60, and Forza Horizon, Stalker 2, all are 60, in addition to coming straight into Game Pass. So like Asa was saying, like when you start comparing, that's when you're like, yeah, it's starting to look a little bad on Sony's side. But that's why competition is good. Maybe we'll see a little bit more in the future. But what Microsoft is offering right now, it becomes really appeasing because they are also, on top of all that, releasing the games for 60, and they're also offering next gen updates, right? For free for the most part, to their major titles, but also on top of all that, to their older games as well. Not even in Microsoft's lineup, just like Ubisoft type games or whatever games that works underneath the FPS boost. So it's just, when you start comparing all that value of, you're getting these first party games for 60. If you want to buy it, like Game Pass, you kind of have it for free, especially if you stack it. Then you have the smart delivery system, which pretty much updates your game for you. You don't have to worry about if you're playing the wrong version of a game, which happened to me when I first launched Miles Morales for the first time. I was playing the PS4 version. I'm like, what is happening? So it's like when you start piling all that stuff, it's just Microsoft is very forward thinking in a lot of those aspects. So
and that's the thing, like, why are gamers responsible for the, with the engineering of the PS5? Like, if they couldn't be able to make a PS5 game without putting more effort into it, that's not on the gamer, that's on, personally, that's on Sony, and for having them charge for the upgrade because they have to do more work, while we look at an Xbox, how everything's just with smart delivery and just upgraded with no issues. So I mean, that's
a good point too. Like, it is, they're basically charging the customers for their mistake at that point, if you look at it that way. But we got 2 super chats to get to real quick here, guys. So Chet Sandberg with the $5 super chat, he says, if Sony wanted to make Game Pass look better, they're doing great by highlighting that they charge too much for upgrades. That's one thing they have to consider, in the news, like how this is going to be received when with their competition is becoming more popular than last gen, right? So you have more of a fair comparison, and Game Pass is something that they don't have an answer for right now. So everything is going to be more compared value-wise going forward. Whereas, like Asa said, it was maybe not that bad of a deal if you go back like 5 or 6 years ago. It's like, hey, that's actually really cool, because before they would sell us the whole game over again. But now, because you do have that comparison, it does kind of make them look bad. And, to his point too, like, Nintendo is the worst of them all, because but they're just like so out there in their own universe.
Their prices never go down.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
We got it. Oh, go ahead, Lupa.
I was just going to say, I do think it's okay, the $20 for the expansion. It's a whole island to explore. I just
Exactly.
didn't like the $10 for the upgrade from PS4 to PS5. And I agree with Asa. Like, it's all confusing how they've done it, and that pertains into the indies as well. The indies don't get any notice on PlayStation at all, even down to the fact in Qatar. I can't say.
Kotaku.
Yeah, they're saying today yesterday in a post that they were using all like passwords for their games and everything, but one game was put in there, and on Xbox it did 20,000, and on PlayStation only 7, and then for the DLC 7,000 on Xbox and only 7 on PlayStation, because they can't. You have to type in the game you're looking for to search their store, so you can't just look, and like with Xbox you can look and you see all the games you have access to all the games that they have on their platform, all in different sections, and on PlayStation you have to type the game in to find it, and that's really killing indies on PlayStation.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing the that article where if they don't spend money to highlight their games,
25,000 to highlight their game, and if
they get
PlayStation
lost
doesn't think it's a good level
shuffle.
game, if they don't think it's a good game, then they hide it in the background if they don't think it's going to do well, which is really bad. So it's sort of like they're not interested in indies anymore. They're only interested in AAA games, and that's what's bad.
Yeah, I think they did so well with the AAAs last gen that it's just kind of influenced them so much, right? And we got another $5 super chat from Neo GameSpark. He says, "Let's be honest, the real reason Mav doesn't like this $10 price is because it comes with vanilla icing animal crackers." Shaking my head. Be honest, bro. Okay, dude, I don't know what the heck you're talking about. I mean, this is this ongoing joke of me not, having any taste. You got to get with the program, bro. These are the real deal. 150th,
they're better than the others.
150th anniversary for a reason. You can't say the same thing about the ice ones. Okay, 150 years. Do you know anybody alive that's 150 years old? No. The only thing is like maybe some turtles, right?
That's because they never get old. They don't go moldy. They're so full of crap.
I can. This is actually.
They're from 150 years ago.
These are actually 150 years old.
That's how good they are.
They are.
Wow.
Come on, guys.
The
icing goes bad.
through a new box as well.
Icing goes bad.
Then also Jean-Marc Louis with the $2 super chat. He says, "Do ponies hate GameFly like they hate Game Pass?" I don't know. You'd have to ask one.
Is GameFly
It's kind of hard to play with hooves, so I don't know if they'd like them or not.
It's still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's thriving now for people on PS5 because they love physical discs. So they don't have a Game Pass, so they have to use something to try out their games.
Well, they have to love physical discs. You can't find a digital anywhere. It's like they have to have discs. They got no choice.
So Asa, do you think that the PlayStation will feel more pressure? You think from this kind of feedback, or no?
They have always been fairly aloof from social media anyway. They're definitely gonna, as soon as they start losing any of their third-party market share, then they'll start feeling pressure and they'll start responding. To be fair, so the threat of Game Pass and the threat of like resurgent Xbox in general for Sony is not lack of sales of the PlayStation 5 or God of War or Horizon. They're all going to do just fine, but they're key to Sony's business model, but they're not Sony's business model. Sony's business model is to push those things so that people have a PlayStation 5, so they buy FIFA and Call of Duty and all of those kind of things on their PlayStation 5, and Sony can take their 30% of that money. And all those microtransactions and Ultimate Team things, Sony get their 30%, and that's what's at risk for Sony. That's the pressure that they'll feel. They're not going to respond to anything urgently, and they don't need to respond to anything urgently. But Jim Ryan's job is to look at the next 5-10 years and make sure that Sony are on good footing to have an answer when it becomes more prevalent. We'll see what happens. It's interesting generation.
Chris, do you have a PS5 or a PlayStation right now?
No, unfortunately, I was not able to get one.
Yeah. It's like, for me, like, I'm like looking at it and I'm adding up all the money I'm going to have to spend on all these games when I get my PS5. And it's like, I want the Ghost of Tsushima edition. So that's like the director's cut. Now it's an additional $30 that I'm going to be forking over for a game that I already own, plus the games I want to buy. Right. So like these things do kind of have a factor, right, with weighing value. Pong, dude, like I know you're waiting to rail on this, so.
No, I'm not looking. I'm not waiting to rail on anything.
Who's getting railed? What the hell? Hey! Oh!
Hey, oh! No, I just no, I have to agree, you know, with Asa, you know, most definitely on some of his points as far as how Sony's going to feel about this. Look, at this point, what we're seeing is just it's two major companies in two different places right now from a business model standpoint. And we knew we were going to see these kinds of examples because we knew what Microsoft and Xbox have been doing all these years with, you know, everything that they looked for. They were already looking forward beyond the console model. They were looking already years and years ago at the Game Pass subscription model. So they started doing work to make this happen. And part of that work is what we see in smart delivery, right? We see the backwards compatibility. We see all this stuff that just makes things easy because they had to prepare for the day when they were going to, you know, release Xcloud into the world so that you can play anywhere, anytime on any device. So all of that prep work has led us to this point. Now, Sony has stuck with the classic model that's worked for them for decades, much like Nintendo. They are confident because they're the market leader. They came out of last gen with such a gigantic lead. Again, if we take Nintendo out of the equation, because Nintendo's in their own pond. But if you just look at them and Xbox, they are very confident in what they're doing. And they have their numbers built based upon that console model, that console sold model. And what goes along with that is obviously, you know, the games and the attach rates and all the old kind of systems that we used to go by when we looked at these companies. And now you have Xbox that has removed themselves from that equation and no longer care so much about that. So they have a model now that allows them to do this kind of thing where they say, you know what, if you know, developer A is going to upgrade, you know, something, whether it be visuals or frame rates or whatever on their old game, we're going to be able to just give you access to that upgrade instantaneously without any worries, without any problems. Your save transfers are going to transfer over. Whereas Sony, like 3-Bit was talking about, and I think 3-Bit, I asked you this question in DMs too. From everything I've heard, like 3-Bit was talking about, it is a little bit more of a process to get these upgrades to go from your PS4 version of your game to a PS5 upgraded version. There's more work involved. And so right now, Xbox has got the backing of a $2 trillion company. They can lose money on Game Pass if they want to. They can purchase third-party deals all day long. They can purchase publishers like ZeniMax all day long if they want to, because they have the backing of that. PlayStation, outside of Sony's insurance business over there, is pretty much one of the main pillar for Sony. They depend upon Sony. That's why Jim Ryan is in the position he's in. They needed a numbers guy to come in to make sure that they were going to meet the demands of the investors and the board going forward. Sean Layden was more of a dreamer like Phil. Sean Layden loved gaming. Sean Layden was the gamers kind of CEO. Jim Ryan is not that guy. You know, he's a numbers guy. He could care less. He's not a gamer, right? So what's he going to do? He's going to do whatever is necessary to make sure that they glean every single penny that they can out of whatever move they make right now. They have to. They're not in the position to take losses. They're not in the position. They're not dying. They're not going bankrupt anytime soon, but they're still not in the position to make those sacrifices for the good of the consumer right now. And they're in the position, and I think with the confidence level of a Nintendo, where they say, you know what, no matter what we do, for the most part, we're going to keep pushing the line because we know our customers are going to take it, right? Our fans are going to eat it and say, you know what, I love these guys so much, I'm sticking it out. And we've already seen it on social media. The hardcore already agree. Now, I'm not going to defend what they're doing because I think the smart delivery is a huge deal. And I think that Sony should be giving those upgrades for free, the extra $10, but we see other companies doing it and getting away with it because nobody's going to speak with their wallet. Everybody's going to keep buying the EA games that require it or the Activision games that require it. Everybody's going to keep putting out the money. So I think Sony's just falling in line with that and saying, you know what, we can get away with this too. And we're going to take that extra $10 because it's important right now. They're not selling the console numbers that they want to because there's not as many consoles in the wild that they ever dreamed of because of the chip shortage, on top of obviously the scalpers who have taken away a lot of the consoles out of the wild. So they don't have those software sales they were hoping to see right now. So that extra $10 goes a long way in making up different things. Again, I'm not defending it. I'm just saying from Jim Ryan's numbers kind of mind, it does make a whole lot of sense to him because he's looking at that and saying, hey, we're getting every last ounce out of this. And guess what? On social media, we got people defending $70 games already, which we knew was going to happen, right?
Yeah.
That's, you know, Sony internally made that. They knew that their fan base was going to defend that. And they knew that shift was going to happen with third parties. So, you know what? They're going to keep doing it. They're like Nintendo until Nintendo fans stop buying Nintendo stuff. Nintendo's going to be Nintendo. They're going to continue to charge, never put on anything on sale. And now we see Sony doing it. There hasn't been a whole lot of discounts on PS5 games up to this point.
Yeah.
Right. So I just don't think we're going to see that change until people really en masse start really, you know, saying something, or, you know, it's finally a death by 1,000 cuts, because nobody here is wrong that with Game Pass and the situation that Xbox is in, that comparison game is going on. And the, you know, the people outside of our community, the people outside of social media and the hardcore gamers are going to start realizing that when they start walking in the stores, when these consoles are out and available side by side, and they start having one of the sales reps hopefully be able to explain, or they start looking at the games and go, wait, I get all this in Game Pass and I have to pay $70 per game over here on Sony. It's going to be a death by 1,000 cuts eventually. Eventually, it's going to hurt them because those comparisons, even if it's two different models, are going to continue to happen and just get worse as this generation goes on.
Yeah.
So.
Great points there, Pong Soul. We got some things going on in our private chat though, guys. It's been cracking us up a little bit. We got a few more super chats to get to as well. So thank you again to Neo GameSpark for the $5 super chat. And he says, this dude Mav making a great pitch for Fallout 5, now featuring 150-year-old animal crackers. Lod, get the strap.
Okay. I love how you try to say Lod.
Yeah. Lod. Lod, get the strap. Okay.
Pong had a ton of good points there. And like with like Sony, I think the one thing, Pong, that like Sony probably has to do, or the only thing that will make them change will be a Microsoft or someone that continues where when people just keep comparing and keep saying like, look at smart delivery, look how much better it is, that's going to influence maybe Sony to change one of their infrastructures for sure.
It'll
Nintendo, again, we always say this, but like Nintendo really is in their own boat. I don't really know what they're going to do.
Nintendo are in their own boat that Sony like the look of.
Yes.
So if you talk about Nintendo,
Yeah.
if you talk about Nintendo not reducing their prices, that none of these $70 PS5 games have had their prices reduced more than, I think I saw a £64 Demon's Souls the other day. That's about as far as they're going. So they're very much looking at Nintendo. Smart delivery, the technical side of it, is not going to get fixed this generation. So if you look at that from Sony's perspective, that's a 2-year problem for a company that took 10 years to implement name changes.
Right.
Yeah, so that problem, they're going to ride that out and let it go. Next gen, maybe a different story, but
right.
It's so funny you brought up Nintendo because
we
have Skyward Sword coming out here soon.
Yeah.
And when you think about like paying for an upgrade, we're paying $70 or $60 for an upgrade from Nintendo for like a 10-year-old game, and it doesn't even look that great. But I mean, leave it to Nintendo. Like, I mean, at least PlayStation's like, hey, pay us $30 for the upgrade, and Nintendo's like, hey, drop $60 on this game all over again to play exactly what you paid like 10 years ago.
And then $20 for an amiibo to fast travel, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which is only purchasable for 3 months exclusively.
Right, correct.
And also,
Correct.
we've been waiting 10 years for the technology to catch up to be able to produce this
Yes.
game on the Switch. What?
Because it really sucked back then when you
Yeah.
like use these motion controls. So we added it. We changed it just a bit to make it a little bit better for you guys. Yeah.
We got two more
Nintendo.
$5 super chats to get to. One from Mike from Original Next Level Gaming. Shout out to you, dude. He said, just wanted to wish my awesome friends at Xbox Ultimate a wonderful weekend. Being part of this community, you are all my gaming family. You too, bro. 100%, man. We love you. And Johnny No Life Gaming, $5 super chat as well. He says, replaying Walking Dead Telltale games right now and playing Limbo. Let's all get drunk tonight. Hey, that sounds like fun. Asa might be passed out by the time that this show is over. So we'll see. We'll see what he's in store for. So, we had a good discussion on this. I wanted to make sure before we move on to our next topic, because Chris here is a stand for a certain game that is going to come out. Who knows when? Maybe 2 years away still, I think, potentially. But he every time he's in the chat, he is talking about this game, and he wrote notes. He came prepared to give us a pitch for this. So now that Chris is on the podcast, I want to give Chris Jones, aka C Unit, the chance to promote Eiyuden Chronicles, which I actually was at the Xbox E3 showcase, and it stood out to me. It looked really cool. So Chris, this is your time to make us all want this game, because I know you're so passionate about it, bro.
Well, we all know Konami has many, many dormant IPs. You had someone that worked on Castlevania, wanted to make Castlevania leave, and that's how you got Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, a Kickstarter game that went on to some mild success. Well, Yoshitaka Murayama and Junko Kawano, I do apologize on the second name, but they're collaborating for the first time in 25 years because they wanted to make a Suikoden-esque game. And now they've all done stuff within the past 25 years on separate projects, but they're coming together to make the Eiyuden Chronicles. And you have music for this game that composers from Baten Kaitos, the Tales of series, Golden Sun, and Wild Arms, many different composers working on this game. And it's being published by 505, which published Death Stranding, Terraria, also Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, and coming to Game Pass, which wasn't the original plan. The whole reason they started the Kickstarter is because Murayama wanted to own the IP, and he was really passionate about Suikoden. And I got to talk to him. I think I was watching you stream last week, Mav, and he was in Discord, the Eiyuden Chronicles Discord, answering questions. So I got to chat and ask a couple questions, and I couldn't give a whole bunch of specifics, but about Eiyuden Chronicles 100 Heroes, there's 110 unique characters for this game, all with unique backstories. The 110th was voted on by the Kickstarter community. 10 different languages. They are really trying to get the accessibility out to many different countries. Even Brazilian Portuguese, which seems to be a very difficult language. Right. For people like Lady that like Nintendo games like Stardew Valley and all that stuff playing on the Switch, they have 8 different mini games: cooking, farming. They got a battle system. They got trading.
We love farming.
They also have voice acting for cutscenes. They also have different modes. They're trying to do something with online play, and I think they call it an asynchronous mode. So when you're offline throughout the game, as you recruit people, your town builds and grows based on what you do throughout the game. And like, if I was playing this game, Mav could like attack my little territory, attack my little town.
Oh, that's my style.
They also have hero mode, which is where you'll recruit a party of 6 people, which is it's a turn-based JRPG, by the way. 6 people, you go into dungeons, you go on some type of mission, and it gets harder over time, like different floors. First floor obviously be easier than the second floor, and they got the Kickstarter. They had originally 2 DLCs, and since they were introduced into Game Pass, they'll be having a 3rd DLC, which they weren't going to be able to do. But when this Kickstarter happened, it crashed 8 times in the first 30 minutes. Within the first 2.5 hours, they had raised 2.5 million, with the original goal being 500,000 to make the game. It's going to be on all platforms. Switch is kind of a little iffy. No one really knows about what's going on with the Switch.
Right.
It'll probably be on Switch. I mean,
it'll be on Game Pass.
Switch is pretty easy to get set up to. So,
but they have 2 games. And now a lot of things people don't understand is they have a game coming out next year, which is Eiyuden Chronicles Rising. It's not like a full blown out game. It is a companion game to the main game. It's going to give you backstories on some of the heroes. The kangaroo looking character might be the main character. Yoshitaka wouldn't tell us. But if you preload into the actual game, people from the original Suikoden series, I think Asa has played the original Suikoden series. People from the original series remembers something special happens if you preload the game, whether it be heroes are stronger or whatever. And if you recruit all 110 characters in the game.
110 like companions?
Yeah, there's 110
unique
people with their own individual backstories.
Interesting.
And,
Yeah, the art style kind of looks like Octopath a little bit, right? So it's got that like 2D but 3D aesthetic.
3D world with 2D characters, yeah.
Right, and pixelated as well.
And if you remember the original Suikoden games, which I talked to Mav doesn't really remember because it was back when we were a little younger. If you recruit all 108 heroes in those games, something special happens. And that's what I got.
Cool, man.
Yeah, like as sales pitches go, I liked all of that, but all you needed to say was it's on Game Pass.
It's on Game Pass. Day one. Both games. The companion game and the full game.
Sold.
Get all that for a low price of $9.99 a month. And first time you get 3 months for $1.
$15.99 for Ultimate.
You're right, Chris.
Play on your PC.
I enjoy those types of games. Like a lot of that kind of stuff is my thing. And when you said that they have voice acting for cutscenes, that's big in that genre. That's a big thing to me. Like I kind of was like, oh wow, voice acting in cutscenes, because usually it's pop-up text or sounds like and like mumbling and stuff like that. So I mean that's big to me. That's awesome that they're doing that. So that's exciting. I think it's going to be one that I pick up. I've never played the series, but you've got me interested. So.
I know Lupa got tuned out when the word turn-based got announced.
I love it.
It's like for sure.
This sounds like my game.
I just like the variety. You know what I mean? Like this is like one of those things where one of the reasons we've talked about Scarlet Nexus before on the show. We're gonna talk about the Ascent today a little bit. It's just like people ask for this kind of stuff. Right? Like, why doesn't Xbox have this? Or why doesn't Xbox have this? Right? But then a lot of times I'll talk about is the shooters and the big Western style RPGs and stuff. You know what I mean? Like there's so much talk about Starfield, so much talk about Halo, Doom, like just all these different things. But when it comes to something like this game, which people have been complaining for a long time that Xbox doesn't have enough of, sometimes like there's just nobody actually really even talking about it to begin with. So like Chris was here. I know he knew a lot about this game. So it is one of the ones that Xbox showcased as well. So it's cool to have him kind of give a bunch of information about that, because I think we should be a little bit more excited for this game than people realize. It sounds really cool. So we also got another $5 super chat from the Boogie Man. What's up, Boogie? He said, just wanted to say this combination of icons looks so wrong. Where did that boy put those fingers? LOL. Much love, guys. Yeah, that's 3-bit and Cardi B. Yeah, that's interesting.
I don't know where he put his fingers, but
they smelling.
All right.
Freaking every time I look at that emoji, it's just like
That one is creepy, 3-bit. Like, I don't know, man. It's just like you
It's
guys
not
need to
fair.
see. You guys
I think
need to
it's
see the
creepy for
GIF.
that little boy.
it's
Poor
from
little
that.
boy.
Can you put the GIF on Twitter right now, babe, and link it to the chat?
Freaking Kate.
I think people need to see the GIF to understand where that emoji comes from.
Okay, yeah, sure. Of course I will.
Okay. All right.
You don't have to ask me twice.
Well, okay, so
Oh my god.
we've been
Sorry.
talking about the smart delivery thing, and it's time to move on from that. I think we gave Sony enough crap and made Xbox look good enough there. So,
That's
but-
just wrong, Jasper.
something else that Sony fans may be a little upset about is this game, which is Kojima. It has, according to some, abandoned them with signing a letter of intent with Xbox to what many assume is going to be an Xbox exclusive game. But we're not gonna rail too much on that point.
That's Pong's job.
I don't think it is.
Pong likes to rail.
You don't think it's
I think
exclusive?
it's going to be no. I think it's exclusive, but I think it's going to be a cloud game on mobile.
You think it's gonna be a mobile game?
A mobile.
Mobile, yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah. But have you
mobile.
seen those
the
mobile games
mobile?
from Xbox though? Have you seen those mobile games?
Yeah,
called
they're pretty
Xcloud.
good now with the server blades from the Series X for
Yeah,
sure.
you can-
Well, the
I
thing
don't
is,
think
like,
it's
what
a
is a
bad
mobile
thing.
game, right? You know what I mean? Like for nowadays with Xbox, because it's on they could be on everything.
Is it a cloud
be.
game? Is it?
Could
Yeah.
be. Yeah.
Is it an
Oh,
But
it's
app?
separate.
he's definitely he wants
It's a
the
cloud game.
technology from Microsoft's cloud. So that tells me it could possibly be mobile, and it might be on everything, but I've got a feeling it might be a mobile game to start with and see how that goes, and then he might decide, oh, they're good enough for me and they're not giving me any grief, so I think I'll just carry on and do some more.
That's such an interesting take to me, Lupa. Like, I mean, thinking about it, there's a market there that only, I'm going to say it again, sorry guys, that Nintendo kind of has a hold on, is that handheld market. So if it's something that they're trying to bust into more and more with this cloud, like we've seen it, but if they're now developing games specifically, like big titles specifically for that handheld market, that's kind of
Yeah.
huge
I
going
don't
down
like
that
where this conversation is going.
handheld.
Xcloud.
I'm gonna stop it now.
Xcloud.
Don't worry, I'm not gonna go on a 2-hour Nintendo rant. Don't worry.
No.
Yeah.
I'm talking about just
No.
the thought of this Kojima game being a mobile game now. Like, has me.
No,
I'm not excited anymore. I don't. No.
If anything,
No, I mean,
it'll be-
I am. I mean, think
it'll be a
about it. If
cloud
it was
game.
a well-running mobile
Yeah.
game on your phone, that's not a bad thing. We're in, this age of technology. Like, imagine just
Mhm.
playing a Kojima game on your breakout work. Like, that would be pretty badass to me. Like, I don't know.
I think so too. I mean, I'm not a big mobile game fan, but it has its place. I think it can replace my Switch if I'm away from home anytime. Especially with that Rishi controller.
Please calm down.
Yeah.
No
But
replacing the Switch. No.
No, I think it's going to be
No,
a cloud.
no. The Switch
I
has
think
its
it's gonna be on the
place in
cloud.
my life, trust me. But I mean, if Kojima's focusing on the tech from the cloud, it tells me it could be a mobile game. That's all. I just thought I'd have
Well,
a different
I
spin on
mean-
it to you lot.
But when you say mobile game, we think mobile game like through the Google Pass and all that. But what I think with what he was doing with Stadia, because that was a streaming platform, he wants to use something for streaming, which Xcloud would definitely be what he's looking into and why he's coming to Xbox, is to bring it to the mobile market via Xcloud, and
Yeah.
anyone with a tablet and a phone playing the game. But also Xcloud would be available for consoles, so being able to you'd be able to play right from Xcloud right onto
Yeah.
your on your Xbox. So I don't think it's going to be like a
No,
like a
like I
legit
said,
mobile game.
I didn't think it would be purely mobile. As Lady said, I think it would be more like the handheld market then, tablets, mobiles, Switch, that sort of thing. Maybe even, who knows? All I'm saying is I don't think it will be a dedicated Xbox AAA game. like Death Stranding was for the PlayStation. Such a
I don't
game.
hate the idea. We're talking about AAA, but if we're talking about like a dedicated AAA game that's just on like handheld like functionality on mobile, that's kind of, I mean, to me that's a big deal. So I don't know.
I'm just throwing it out there.
I like it, Lupa. I like it.
Thank you, lady.
Go
ahead,
he's, so the thing that's
or Asa.
I'll take it first and then you can, Pong. So the thing that's like interesting about it for me is obviously like in console war in space, people want that exclusive from Kojima, but the thing that makes it interesting is he's obviously not doing it for the money, and he's not doing it for brand loyalty, and he's not falling out with Sony. He's looking at a technology stack that will help him reach his creative vision, and that makes it exciting, whatever it's going to be. But in terms of what his creative vision can be, like if you look at Death Stranding, he's obviously on a kick about connecting people. So cloud technologies that he's going to be looking at are likely to focus on people being isolated and connecting in different ways. And whether that leads to actually being able to play it on a handheld or not, I don't know. I can't see him going exclusively mobile because all of his games have been quite cutting edge on graphics. And I'm not sure he'd be willing to step down from that.
Well, the one thing I will say to that, Asa, real quick, is that with the cloud tech, you don't necessarily have to anymore, right?
Yeah.
So
you don't necessarily.
Right.
But I don't think that's where he'd take it.
I agree.
I think that there are other technologies in cloud technology that are probably what's piqued his interest. But
yeah, I think they can with the he uses the Agility SDK, and with acquiring their Orion technology, where you can put 4K 60 max setting games onto your streaming platform. He's definitely could be utilizing maybe experimenting with that and seeing where he can push the limits of his game through, but being on both. You can have a game on console and through Xcloud for mobile, but utilize the streaming aspect. So however he delivers everything and how people interact with one another within that said game is interesting, and love to see where it goes when he speaks more about it.
Yeah, I expect the.
Okay.
Go on through, but I've already had a go. You have a go.
I was just gonna say I'm a fan of Kojima. It seems like a lot of what's happening is pretty much confirmed at this point. It seems like the deal at the stage with what Matt was saying, like the letter of intent, which is a great sign. It's not 100%, but it's close to them furthering the deal. Now, what Kojima might potentially be working on, it's most likely original IP dealing with the cloud. In fact, 2 days ago, Microsoft and AT&T agreed to outsource their 5G network to Microsoft Azure. So not only do they have the Orion technology from ID Tech and ZeniMax cutting down the latency for the games, but now they also have that deal with AT&T. So I think if this deal, if the rumors are true of Kojima wanting to make a game dealing with the cloud technology, it starts to make like even more sense as Microsoft continues to invest into that infrastructure. Kojima has done a hybrid of trying something like new with Death Stranding, where other players can help each other without even being there. And that game really had a theme of you being connected to the people sort of like around you, even if you don't see them. So I think if I was him and Kojima's, he really builds on the last game he does and continues to build on different features. So I'm sure as a creator, he wants to take that idea further and possibly do a hybrid cloud story-based game of some sort. I didn't even think about the possibility of it being like what Lupa was saying, like a mobile game. It sure is possible. I have to think about that a little bit more, but yeah, I think if I was Kojima, that's the route I would want to take it, of basically building upon what he did with Death Stranding, like the game or not. It had some pretty cool stuff in the game in terms of like multiplayer, but still being a story-based game.
Yeah, man. So for me, it's like Okay, so I kind of agree with Asa, like where I think limiting it to just like mobile would be not necessarily his style, because he does push the boundaries. Now I think mobile's more capable than ever because of the cloud, but then you're also limiting PC, you're also limiting Xbox, and if you are making a game on the Xbox ecosystem, you're taking some of that strength away by only isolating it to like certain devices. Oh, as opposed to making it for all devices, which is kind of like what Xbox's thing is right now. So, and if I was Kojima, that may be where I look at is, okay, this is going to be on everything. And also with the cloud, it makes it possible. And as well as something else that is part of this, I don't think it's just about the availability of it. It's about using the cloud tech for the actual game itself, right? Like Sea of Thieves is using it, Flight Sim is using it, and it's becoming more and more capable, like 3-Bit said, with this tech. So what does that mean for like a Kojima game? Like, is it going to be an ever evolving type thing, or is it going to release separate, isolated games that are going to be smaller, and have more releases via Game Pass and use that as like a tool to tell stories, right? Or is it going to be his next big AAA masterpiece, right? That's going to feature really in-depth cloud game dev stuff that I don't even understand how it works to make the game bigger than we could even imagine. All of those things are possibilities. The rumors were before that this was a project he had with Stadia, and that fell through, and that's why Xbox brought in Kim West to kind of help oversee this thing, because she has a relationship with Kojima via Google, right? So if Google Stadia was the previous home for this game before, that would also lead me to believe it's not mainly a mobile experience. It would be more, that would have been more of a PC experience.
That's interesting though. I didn't know the Stadia thing. So Stadia's kind of signature would be the ability to link up through YouTube and the ability to jump into somebody else's world seamlessly.
Yeah.
So that's, if he had a special project with Stadia, it would have definitely been that social, like you don't need to install the game, you can explore what other people are doing through social media, and you can jump in and you can join them. And that does speak to a game that could not, I wouldn't say a mobile game necessarily, but a game that could definitely expand beyond the box in interesting ways. But
whatever this is, it'll be creative. We know that because it's from a creative-led team, right? And that's what's exciting, like about this for me, is like, because no matter what, it's going to be something that is different than anything else, right? Because all Kojima games are different than anything else out there, right? And I think we need just more of that. We got a $10 super chat from Johnny No Life. Shout out to you, dude. Again, he says I'm going to try and say this word. The multiplicative performance you can gain from utilizing cloud in combination with physical hardware is insane. Look at Flight Sim. The possibilities are beyond what we would ever expect from a game. Yeah, that's true. And then I would look at Forza Horizon 5 and be like, are they using the same tech that Flight Sim is? But they're not. It's different. It's like it's weird how they can bring these.
I mean, Sea of Thieves, right? Sea of Thieves is using the cloud so that everyone sees the same wave when they're on the boat. You know, it's using like cloud technology, and that technology is honestly amazing. The waves and the water in Sea of Thieves is some of the best I've seen out there.
Oh yeah. I saw that Flight Sim's getting an upgrade for PC.
Oh yeah, because whatever they're doing with Flight Sim, getting it ready for consoles, I guess when they were optimizing the game for consoles for the Series X, they are also in tandem going to be upgrading it for the PC, because they found different ways to optimize that experience. So it's going to be interesting. I want to fly. Basically, all I want to do in Flight Sim is go to my house and crash into it. So that's my whole goal.
That's a weird.
People like to crash into your house already, though. 3-Bit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Crashing on light posts.
Crashed to my light post in front of my house. That was nice during this show. So. But yeah, the technology with the cloud is honestly amazing. When people think about the cloud, you guys should you should just think about all it does is alleviate resources away from what you have. So the Series X doesn't have to work as hard. It alleviates, I don't know, the technology off the GPU and the CPU onto the cloud instead, and things that may not even be possible. Like maybe you just have so much resources on the screen, you could just be like, oh, let's put that on the cloud, which is kind of what Sea of Thieves does, which is one of the first games I've seen that used technology like that. And then Forza kind of used it with their AI for the cars, apparently. When it first came out, I remember them talking about the power of the cloud and all that, where the racers, the AI can learn from your behavior and try to get better. So they're using the cloud in different ways. I remember people sort of made fun of it early on, right? The power of the cloud, and with Crackdown 3 not being the best. And
there it is. I was wondering when that was coming.
yeah, Crackdown 3, yeah, that was not a good one. But I think the potential for the technology is definitely there. We're starting to see it over time, and you know, games are going to continuously get better with technology and all that. So yeah, looking forward to whatever Kojima has cooking up.
It's gonna be exciting.
Think about it, Kojima. This is why Kojima's still in the game industry, is because of technology pushing forward, which allows him to explore more and more of his creativeness, or things that he believes is creative. And he, again, this is why I know a lot of people don't like Kojima for whatever reason. A lot of people think he's past his prime, but I think the guys, people like Kojima are necessary to continue to push the industry in different directions that people may not have thought of before. He's kind of like an indie developer in that way. He likes to take risks that other people just refuse to do when they are working on AAA games. But he's got the name to back it up, and he winds up getting the the financial backing, the resources necessary to put forth AAA type games that do push those boundaries out further and further. So I think he's excited. He talked about this for years ago. There was an article which he was interviewed, which he started talking about the possibilities that cloud was going to do, and he was already thinking at that time how he could implement some of those ideas into a game that used the cloud. And he's been looking forward to this for a very long time. And I think that, we kind of have a good idea. It's probably a horror game that he's going to do. But what if you had a horror game that was basically like a perpetual world in the cloud, at all times, that was immersive in ways that we haven't thought of? Let's say somebody on the other side of the planet does something, and all of a sudden your phone rings, or your phone gets a message, or you have to respond to something that somebody else did, which altered the world. And when you hop back into that world, maybe you can help other people straight from your phone, right? Or you don't have to be connected to a console or to Xcloud to do it. Things like that, I think, are the exciting different, and I'm sure Kojima's probably got ideas way outside what anybody else has even thought of. But I'm thinking of like this perpetual kind of horror game, could be episodic with new, chapters or whatever you want to call them. But the world kind of changes or evolves. The horror story evolves as people in all over the world are connected online through various devices, do affect that world and what the story is, what's happening to the story. It could be an ever-changing kind of story deal. Where you don't know what the outcome is going to be, or it's going to depend upon what everybody kind of does as a group that determines what happens in that game. I think stuff like that is really exciting. Again, horror is not even my style for games, and I don't even know if I'd play it, just depending on what it's like. But just the ideas that can come out of this. This is why you invest in a Kojima. This is why you bring them into the fold and say, go wild, go crazy, because this is going to help Microsoft advertise the cloud even more and the power of the cloud. If you got a name like Kojima doing things that maybe we haven't seen before, or taking ideas that we have tried in the past, just didn't work out because of technology, and now he implements them and they actually do wind up working this time. that just advertises everything that Xbox and Phil's done interviews about developing in the cloud and how that's going to open up, open up the space to more people. It's going to bring down more barriers for developers to develop bigger things than we've ever seen before. So having a Kojima name attached to that alone helps that, move forward, as one of the things that Xbox does want to push in the future. So I think that's why you do this kind of stuff. And that's why you bring in a Kojima and you just kind of let him run wild and see what he comes up with. And you don't know. I mean, he could hit it. Death Stranding didn't hit, right? But it's still sold, and there's still plenty of fans out there that love it. It's getting a director's cut, so somebody's still buying it today. But you don't know. He could do something magical again, and it could be a phenomenon. And then you got a worldwide phenomenon because now everybody's connected to it via the cloud, right? And what does that do? That opens up more and more that 3 billion that everybody wants to jump into. Because if you got a Kojima game that hits and everybody's playing across the world, everybody's talking about it with their friends, and they're like, oh man, this is so cool. You can't believe what happened. People can just hop on their phones now, log in, and be able to interact with the game, wherever they're at. And that would be a huge, huge deal for Xbox. So that's what I look forward to.
Exactly, Pong.
Kevin Medeiros in the chat earlier
Yeah,
said,
I was about to say that too.
that Pong and Kojima should collaborate. But also earlier he had said that maybe it's a farming simulator, which would be great. But how about this? What if it's a farming simulator, but you farm clouds?
And that's what the
I
cloud
had my bet on
Biggest
Starfield
meme.
being a star fucking farming.
You
Star
did.
farming?
It
did.
didn't work out for me.
It still could be.
It could be.
Still
It
time.
could be.
Very much.
I want to know what Chris Jones wants this game to be. What do you want out of this game?
It's not what I want. It's what I believe. And I believe when I think of Kojima that I'm 100% sure it's going to be a horror game. Period.
Yeah.
Silent Hill type, but not called Silent Hill.
It could be. I mean, he didn't get to make the game that he was working on right before.
There was something.
QT.
There was something I read. I can't remember from which article it was, but Kojima says he's not done innovating in the horror franchise yet. So that's why I believe it'll be a horror game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be called Whisper Mound.
Did you just say Whisker Mound?
Whisper.
Oh.
Whisper.
Silent Hill, Whisper Mound. So
I mean,
I'm trying
they're
to be
doing
funny.
a,
I'm not funny. I'm sorry. All right?
What
I
kind of
don't get
horror
it.
we
I'm
going
sorry.
for here? What kind of horror are we going for here?
We're going for the quiet type of horror.
Yeah.
A horror where you don't scream.
So when you're innovating horror, what exactly how do we innovate that? Like,
What if-
that's kind of
What?
I mean, PT innovated. There wasn't
mean,
a
it
game like
did.
PT when it came out. Now there's a bunch of clones of it, right? But
PT.
I don't even
Screw
know.
those
Like,
What if we have to
Screw
scare
those
each other?
babies.
We're all in like an environment, and like we have to like
Well, I mean, when
jump
you
out and
look
say
at-
boo.
when you think of innovation, like Alien Isolation kind of had that kind of innovation in it when it came to horror because it connected
Yeah.
to the Kinect, and then if you made sounds and stuff, the alien could find you. So I mean, that was innovative. I'm just trying to think of other ways that you can kind of bust into that genre in an innovated way. Like it's hard to think of. Horror is not my favorite thing. I have horrible anxiety. So I don't do well. I've been trying to play Resident Evil 8 for like since launch, and I made it to like the second save point. So I don't know. Like, I think that if it's something that he's doing, like I'm intrigued. I'm just intrigued. I hope it's not like just like pitch blackness and then every once in a while something jumps at you and they're like, this is your game.
I don't know if you guys have played like Metal. Like he innovates in different ways.
Different
just with
ways,
his,
weird way, yeah.
Like with Metal Gear, I think it was the first one. He made the Psycho Mantis guy read your game saves. So whatever was the last game you played, he was like, oh, you played Tomb Raider, right? And it was actually like in the game, which I thought was like really cool. And Metal Gear 5, it kind of starts off like a horror game when you're in the hospital, which was really interesting and cool, a little different from the rest of the game. and then PT. Like, I don't know if you guys have played PT, but goodness, what it does with like how it scares you in different ways. And someone did like a mod of taking the camera outside of the person, and someone is following you the entire time to sort of give you that feeling of anxiety. And every time I played PT, things happen differently every time you play it. So I think he's the one to.
3-bit. Hold on. Before, I didn't want to interrupt you, but did you ever hear the story about what he wanted to do with Snatcher in the original the floppy disks that Snatcher came on? His original idea in Snatcher, and Snatcher is kind of a sci-fi thriller, kind of murder mystery horror kind of game. For anybody who hasn't played it, it's extremely old. Only us old guys really remember it a lot. But he had this idea originally that he wanted to take the floppy disks and engrave a secret message on them, which would only be activated by the heat of the disk drive, and it would create the smell of blood. That was like something. So yeah.
I don't want to smell my games.
Right.
I think that was, I like
but stuff like that is why, if anyone's going to innovate the horror genre, it's going to be Kojima, you know, because he thinks of stuff like that. I would have never thought of friggin' that, you know. It's insane. So if he does the horror genre like Chris, like I hope he does do the horror genre, because with him teaming up with Guillermo del Toro, who's unfortunately every time Guillermo del Toro tries to make a project, it just does not happen. And I feel so bad for him sometimes, because he's constantly trying to work on a project in Hollywood, and then they cancel it. Like he was working on Hellboy 3 before it was canceled, and some other projects. And
what was there was a video game that he was working on that was canceled too, not that long ago. I remember it was like announced. It was a big announcement.
Besides PT, I can't remember. If anyone in chat knows, and
maybe that's the one. Yeah. Kojima really like nailed PT. It was one of the scariest things I've ever experienced, like playing through. It was rough because you just...
What was that one where you're in that house
in the hallway?
I watched you play that.
Yeah,
right?
you that were helping me trying to figure out what the hell to do. Remember, we had to keep
I
going
survived
back
3 minutes.
You had to go back to the phone a couple different times, you know what I mean? And like trying to answer it, and then if you do it right, then something else happens, you know what I mean?
And then you finally get out, right?
Towards the
at the end. Yeah, and then you see like a trailer for the game
Silent Hill.
Yeah.
So they're doing a Silent Hill, as far as I know, unless those rumors aren't true, with Bluebird, right?
Right, and we don't know what platform that's on for sure yet.
And one other developer.
We don't know if that's for sure Silent Hill though, right? Like we're not.
It's rumor, but it's pretty.
I know it's rumored.
Pretty
but
obvious.
I mean, are we?
It's been out there for too long. And Konami, what else is Bluebird gonna take from Konami as far as an IP goes and make?
This made the rounds.
Bluebird has like the.
Look at the media.
But they are making a new remake of Dead Space 1.
I saw the articles on that.
Yeah, but that's with EA though.
I'm really excited for that. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing. EA are stepping up for a change.
Well, we'll see. I hope. I've never actually played Dead Space, so I need to go back and play.
Me neither, Mav. That's one of those ones that I want to play.
It's just somehow, like, I just never got. I tried playing the first one a few times, and I just stopped playing it. I don't know.
I'm disappointed.
I'm sorry.
3 was
I apologize.
I'll play it with you, Mav. Let's do it. I think that one of them is co-op.
Let's go. Let's do it. Hey guys, I'm gonna give away a $20 gift card. So DM Kate if you want to enter. Also, our members are automatically entered as well. So if you DM Kaitlin, I'm going to put her Twitter in the chat, and you can enter in for a chance to win this gift card. So let me put that here. All right, guys. So I have we all had a chance to chime in on Kojima? Like I know, I mean, I think
so.
Yeah, we
Yes.
I'm excited about the possibilities. I'll just say that. You know, like there's a lot of possibilities here that we don't know what it is, but I am excited that it seems like it is closer to the finish line of actually becoming a deal that's ready to be announced, right? Where we may get an idea of what it actually is. So I wanted to move on to Kojima is a lot of talk about this xCloud thing. Xcloud had their improvements this week with Series X being implemented with the server blades and all that stuff, and also Xcloud is now playable on iOS via browsers, which remember that whole fiasco last year when that thing went down with Apple. So now the whole, like pretty much any mobile device you can play Xcloud on, right? So I want to go to Asa first on this about like, where do you think this is going technology wise? Do you think this is actually going to make a huge impact in the next couple of years, or do you think it's just always going to be a secondary thing?
I think it's going to make a huge impact, but a couple of years is a fairly short scale for it. I think if you use it right now, if you're looking at the audience that it's aiming at, which is the kind of people that are happy to watch a film on Netflix, really. So you've got people that are really hardcore into their audiovisual stuff, and they'll not watch Netflix. They'll want to watch an ultra high definition Blu-ray to get the best quality that they can. And that's kind of the console gamer at the moment relative to the cloud gamer. There's a massive audience that don't care about quality to that extent at all. Like I can show my wife a 720p game and she'll be fine. She doesn't know the difference. And that's not because she's blind. She just doesn't care. She'd be happy to play at that resolution. There's a massive audience like that. The thing that Microsoft are going to have to look at, and it's interesting that Lupa was saying about Kojima potentially doing a mobile game. It doesn't need to be Kojima that does it, but they're going to need to expand their content to grow the audience. So they can try and convince all of these people that have never held an Xbox controller that actually Halo's awesome and you need to play it, but they probably won't get that far. So they're going to need to diversify their content a bit to get there. I don't think they're in a massive rush to do it. If you look at the pacing of their rivals, so Sony are probably working in the background, but really not pushing PlayStation now. Google have stepped off the gas, if anything, with Stadia, and Luna is still just trialing in America. Their competition are further behind Microsoft. Microsoft are getting a massive head start, but timescale wise, they're probably looking 5 to 10 years to make a big difference. And the metric that I think will be really interesting is when they have more Game Pass subscribers than they have Xbox consoles in the wild. And that will happen at some point. That's a real tipping point, but they're a long way off of that at the moment.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely going to happen, especially where they are offering Game Pass is in ecosystems like a TV. Like you buy a TV, it comes with Game Pass, and that will allow people to just play these games without a console. And they're tackling so many markets right now, and with console, PC, mobile, and now even like streaming sticks, sort of like a Fire Stick. I think it'd be interesting to look at those markets like a Amazon Fire Stick, see what the metrics are for that, and see if Microsoft can hit those as well. But I think with Sony, it's really interesting because Microsoft did make a deal with Sony a while ago for Sony to use the Azure servers, and they never wanted to use them. That's like their decision to not really invest into that infrastructure. So I don't know, maybe they are working on their own version of it, or maybe not. Maybe they're just like, okay, we can't compete. Maybe they hit that goal of like, I can't compete here, so let me invest in just what we are really strong in, which is their first party studios. It's their third person action adventure games, and some of their partnerships that they have with the studios, especially with different Japanese developers as well. They are very, competitive in that market. So
it's interesting because Sony was actually first with cloud gaming, right? But like they're so far behind now. So
they weren't just first with it though. They weren't just first with cloud gaming. They've backtracked from their original vision. They started putting apps on TVs and things like that.
Yeah,
and it was on mobile.
View.
PlayStation Now was broader than it is now. Not PlayStation View. You could get PlayStation Now. There's an app on your mobile, and you could get it on Sony TVs at least. They were shipping Sony Bravia TVs with a PlayStation controller and PlayStation Now installed.
Right.
And then they pulled that right back and they put it on PlayStation and PC only. And it's kind of been on the back burner since then. But their vision in terms of what Microsoft are doing now, certainly were attempting it a long time ago and walked back and said, no, it's too soon. Problem with those kind of services for casuals, though, is you look at Xcloud now, for a normal user, it's a pretty good experience in peak conditions. But you get someone that's not really aware of what's going on, and they log on for the first time, they pick up a controller, they go to play a game, they're not really aware that somebody else in their house is downloading at the time, or their Wi-Fi connection is not brilliant, and they get a suboptimal experience. That person's probably not coming back for a long time. So when I say it's too soon, like, the experience can be good right now, but they need it to be way more stable and way more reliable before they really push hard with it. They're obviously gearing up to do it. They're obviously getting all the technology in place. It obviously is a big part of their future, but time frame wise, I don't think they're in a hurry.
Yeah, that's a great point. Because I guess you wouldn't want to expand it and everybody tries like, well, I keep hearing about xCloud, and then it's like 5 frames per second. Right. So it does make sense why they're making deals like the AT&T, Microsoft basically acquiring AT&T Network Cloud Tech. And they're basically just expanding their technology, trying to make it better, so that when people do try it, it's stable and actually usable. I tried xCloud a couple days ago. It worked pretty well on my phone. It was like pretty smooth, but I know for some people, like I think someone said in the chat, Kevin, he said he tried playing Doom, and it pretty much wasn't a good experience, is what I summarize that to be. So they still got some work to do for sure. When you're streaming a whole game through the internet, it's difficult. There's a lot of things that go into it, but they're working on it, and it's in the beta phase. I wonder when they'll get there to a stage where everyone can try it and it's just like a pretty good experience. You need like just basic good internet, right? To make it a good experience for everybody, but maybe in a few years it'll hit that mark.
Is there anybody here that uses it frequently right now, like on
either
mobile or on the PC? Yeah, you do, Pong?
Yeah. I've been using it for quite a while on my phone, and I'm on Wi-Fi when I'm in my bed. So I definitely could tell the update to the server blades, because I did play Doom, the older Doom, just the other night after the upgrade went through, and I actually played through a whole level. Now, was it perfect? No, it wasn't perfect, but it was a good enough. And again, I'm not the guy who ever play first-person shooters on my phone ever. I don't. It's just not the experience I like. But I did play it, and yeah, there was a little bit of lag, but not enough. I died a few times extra than I probably should have because of the lag. But overall, my experience was really good. But otherwise, I've been using it to play Octopath Traveler and other games like that, and it's perfect. I mean, again, those games are the games that show it off the best right now. Like Asa was saying, it's going to take time. But again, after the server blade upgrades, I definitely noticed a difference. It looked gorgeous. I mean, it ran really, really well for what it was. And again, my Wi-Fi in my bedroom isn't the greatest. It's not like I got the strongest signal in my bedroom. And it still did fine. So I could definitely tell a difference. So I think they are obviously making strides. It's going to be a while before tech catches up to it, but I think they're doing pretty good right now.
Can someone explain that to me? So when you said they upgraded the server blades, did they just upgrade to the Series X?
Yep.
Okay.
Because they were on the 1S blades before.
Yeah.
Now they're Series X blades. So now you can get 1080 60, right? Am I correct?
Yeah.
Right.
1080 60 now.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Sorry, go ahead, Psycho.
No, I was gonna say, like, is games that built with like the agility SDKs that utilize the streaming technology will definitely have a better resolution once those games are being produced.
Yeah. I'm sure since Ace is such a Sony fanboy that he's never tried it, so we can't get his opinion on it. Hey, Chris, I heard you saying that like you use it at work. Is that what you said?
Yeah, when I'm not doing my actual job, there are times I have free time and not with Wi-Fi connection, just straight on the cellular network. And I've only had bad experiences trying to play ESO on the phone, which I wouldn't recommend. But like
Yeah.
I've played Gears 5 multiplayer sitting next
Mhm.
to a supervisor in office and just smooth. And that was before the upgrade.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was playing when I was waiting for my pre-order for my Series X. I was playing the Gears 5. Latency was really good and it looked great. So yeah, it was a fun time.
Well, I've tried it a few times. I've just never been a big handheld gamer, right? And I tried it on PC the day it launched on beta for the browsers. And it wasn't a good experience right then, but it was like literally like right after the beta launched. So I haven't gone back and checked it out yet. But I would see, for me personally, the way I would utilize it most is actually via the Xbox consoles. And I think I keep waiting for that, because once it's available, like on my, I have a couple of 1S's, I have some 1X's, and we game in multiple places of the house. So sometimes it's like, okay, you have to keep reinstalling, downloading new games, uninstalling games, and if you play in more than one place, it becomes like very like unmanageable, right? To be able to have what you want to play on all these different devices. And you can't just literally have like a server farm in your house to make this stuff happen. You know what I mean? I guess you could, but for me, it makes sense to like implement something like that. So if you want to play something, it's just accessible and ready to go. And if you're accepting of not having that same level of experience as it would be downloaded to the hard drive, right? So that's what I'm waiting for. That or streaming stick option, which they did announce they're doing. So because that way I don't necessarily have to have an Xbox on every TV, right? Then we can just do that, and okay, these TVs are for this, and then the other TVs have the more dedicated experience where we play the most, right? So that's what your mom's
do
in the
you
chat.
think
Uh-oh.
This is for you, Mav, right?
Yeah.
So do you think that with the streaming stick coming, and we know Phil has some Switches right on his shelf, as we predicted he would have a shelf. I think I was wrong, maybe. I can't remember. Do you think that the Switch can come to the cloud soon, within a year?
Do I think that the Switch will have access
like
to
Switch games? Yeah.
Okay, so Switch games be access or Xbox games be accessible on the Switch? I want to make sure I'm answering the right question.
Sure.
Do you think that Switch is going to have Game Pass? Basically, he's asking if do you think that Switch is that rumor that Xbox is Game Pass is going to come to Switch?
Why did you just say so? 3
Yes.
All right.
I mean, I'm
because he's drunk and I can handle my drunk better than him.
Thank you, Lee.
Yeah, I would love to answer this question. Within a year? Okay. Okay, I think that there has been way too much smoke with this, right? And maybe some of the smoke has been clouding 3-Bit's mind a little bit because there's just so much of it, right? I think that Xbox desperately wants this to happen, okay? Because it makes sense for them. How many Switches are out there? How much of an audience does Nintendo have? They also are serving pretty much two different audiences with this type of games that they're launching, because Nintendo has relegated themselves into this like other realm of video games that like doesn't really cross over very much with Xbox or PlayStation, right? So for Nintendo, I could see it being a possibility where they would allow something like that to happen. The key is, I think you need a better Switch. I think you need a better Switch to really make it viable and an option for both of them to see going forward, because you may want some more technology in that Switch to be able to not only make the games look better to take full advantage of the way they're going to be pumped out through the cloud, but also you have to think about the Wi-Fi access and the Wi-Fi capabilities of the Switch. You want to make sure that that connection is as fast and fluid as possible. But once they do it, it's going to be wildly successful, because the Switch is a great device to play on, right? If you like handheld gaming. If you like handheld gaming, it is like the best thing you can play on right now, right? So if you bring a whole different array of games, which Nintendo isn't really necessarily capable of doing that whole cloud thing that Xbox has, right? If you bring this whole different suite of games, that's going to help Nintendo do what they want to do, which is sell hardware, get more Switches into people's hands because they have access to more games. The key is you got to have the technology be there to actually make it work. Like they don't.
Honestly,
I
I
don't
think
want to release a bad experience. You
I
know?
think they would just want to make it like usable. At this
What
point.
does that mean? Usable.
Like they would just like have the base level.
Oops.
Yeah, what were you gonna say, like?
Have the
I would say it's so
handheld
funny that
bits
you
to
bring
do
up like
handheld and a home
online
console.
functionality, because we've talked about it so much. And now
Mhm.
with Mario Golf, 3-Bit and I have been playing. I've been playing with a lot of people, but there's like this weird, like if we start a game and we want to quit the game, we have to completely close the whole software down and restart it to end that game and restart and create a new lobby. Like they're just not
Or when you
there when it
accept your
comes.
invites, like
Yeah.
whenever you invite
It's
somebody.
so weird. Like the online functionality there is just so fucked up. I'm just like, fuck, if they're gonna bring Game Pass to a fucking system like this, they really need to like get something going there. It's so weird.
Question.
And when we play, we have to play. I play with my friends on Xbox Party Chat to play with my Switch. Like that's where I'm at.
I forget. Does a Switch have a web browser?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I think
Does
it
it?
does.
No, if it does, I don't use it.
I think
I
it,
know,
it does have the web because you go to the store online and stuff.
Well, yeah, you go to the store, but I don't think it has a web browser. Like I mean, if it does,
I'm not sure now. I can't remember.
I
I've
remember
played it
like
sometime.
some of the Nintendo stuff did have web browsers on them.
Yeah.
I remember I think the Wii U did.
Yeah, the Wii U did because you could play Wii games on the Wii U via like transporting them, if you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
from the Wii to the Wii U, but you can't play Wii and Wii U games on the Switch. I think Nintendo have wrapped their hand in with games and they're just all about kids' toys now.
that's exactly where I'm at. I feel like Nintendo is just putting so much into nostalgia and merchandise, and they're just fucking forgetting about everything that matters when it comes to games. So
absolutely.
But from Nintendo's perspective, though, if they're not really competing in the same space that Xbox is, if you allow an app like Game Pass to come into the platform, that would in turn sell a Switch to somebody like Pong, potentially, right? Somebody like me for sure, right?
But I think the only way that people are going to buy a Switch now, I mean, you've got your Switch Lite and your Switch that docked and for home and all that shit. Well, just have your Switch Lite and then have a Nintendo home console again that has all the tech. Yeah, it has all the tech that Xbox has and PlayStation has and all of that, because I think they've pretty much got the handheld market covered. So
they're slick.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
They
So
don't
I
wanna-
think that
I don't think they want to
they
put their
need
money.
No, they don't. They're tight-assed as hell.
Yeah.
I've said it before, but in 10 years, Nintendo's not going to know what hit them. They're going to lose the generation that they're like focusing on, which is us. You know, the newer generation isn't into it. They're focusing so much on handheld and stuff like that, which is great. You know, they are ruling that market, but we have these other companies that are coming in. Like we talked earlier, we have Xbox fucking up, Xcloud, like all this stuff is just becoming more dominant, and I just feel like in 10 years Nintendo is going to be like, oh wait, we were supposed to focus on that. So
well, also kids are going to have more of options where kids are already used to using mobile devices and tablets a lot. Like I don't know a kid personally that doesn't have a tablet or something to play on, and when you have console quality games on those tablets, they're very proficient at figuring that out. And the parents have less reason to need to get them a mobile gaming device at that point because they already got a device, you know.
Exactly. So I just feel like they're like shooting themselves in their own foot, and they don't even realize what's happening. Like they're not paying attention to what's going on around them. So
They really aren't, because when you think about like the next generation of gamers, it's usually like they want to play with each other and play like on party chats, different stuff. right? So Nintendo sucks for that. It's not very good. Like when ladies inviting me to like these different games, it completely closes my game.
We have to completely close the
And
game
then-
just to power up our online fucking. It's crazy. It's
It's
stupid.
mad. That's why I don't even bother giving my friend code out. It's pointless. I mean, it's like 10 miles long, and you have to plumb it in one letter at a damn time.
Let me give you my 28-digit friend code here. please.
No, it's all right. I don't need to know your social security and your date of birth and everything.
And that's why I've been thinking that with the talks between Microsoft and Nintendo is more of a online infrastructure, utilizing possibility like the Zora, using for chat, using for multiplayer and all that, so they can have a normal experience like what Lady and Three Better are experiencing now, where they have to shut down their entire unit just to get into a multiplayer match. And that's why I think what Microsoft and Nintendo possibly could be talking to. So this way they can upgrade their infrastructure and have a better online presence than they do right now.
Yeah.
Can I say something real quick in the chat? Because,
3 bits like, hold on.
No, I was gonna address that too. Go ahead.
Okay. Asa
and I have
is one of the most balanced. That's if there's a definition for Asa, it should be balanced, right? Balanced and also extremely intelligent. Where even if I'm going a little fanboy, right, and he says something, I'm like, oh, I didn't think of it that way. That actually makes sense. So being intelligent sometimes and having a different opinion than somebody else doesn't mean that you are one-sided or anything like that. In fact, he enjoys playing on all platforms. So just wanted to address that in the chat. So
I think most of us do as gamers. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. We'll play on anything, anywhere if we like the game.
That's just a gamer in general. I hate the whole fanboy. If he does like PlayStation more, if he does like Xbox more, who fucking cares? People have preferences.
Joe from PlayStation Trophy Room Podcast comes on the show, and guess what? He prefers PlayStation but still likes Xbox. It's just kind of Oh, shout out! I just noticed Chris.
I don't get it because the PlayStation interface is fucking janky as hell, and I have a hard time.
I just noticed Chris.
Thanks, lady.
Yeah, I love it.
You know, that whole conversation didn't deserve the oxygen, but
no, I understand. Yeah, I agree.
I appreciate.
I'm just excited he's going to destroy you. I just really want to see it happen.
Please destroy Asa. I just got to see the destruction.
we have though, like so the GameOnDaily show that we do on a Saturday. Like Gaz is obviously quite overtly pro Xbox, but we're not an Xbox channel, so it is my job to balance it. People just get weird ideas. I mean, what was I playing on when you came and saw my stream earlier, Mav?
You were playing Evil Within 2. Yeah.
Yeah, Xbox Series X, like I've done most days this week.
It was interesting.
Such a fanboy.
Like, I can't believe you're playing on that console that you hate. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like most people, they only on their PlayStation about a month a year when they're playing the AAA banger RPG. So
I'm gonna have to do a Jeff Grubb.
Yeah, you
There you go. Somebody please clip that.
Dust it off.
I just think that's just the silliest thing, though. I get Nintendo fangirl all the time. I'm like, I'm the first one to call Nintendo out on their fucking shit. Calm down. Like, no.
People just like labels nowadays. That's all it is. Everybody wants to label somebody.
I criticize PlayStation all the time right now. Because there's a lot of things
they have the right. You have the right to criticize them.
Exactly, but I really want a PS5. I keep trying every day to get a PS5. I keep.
You're not fast enough as those damn bots, man. You're not fast enough of those bots.
All right, everybody. Mav's been waiting to change this channel to PS Ultimate, so
just
ready
wait
for
till
it,
that
right?
happens. We're gonna have our
Magnificent 2.
We're gonna have our 50th episode, and then episode 51 is gonna be bam PlayStation Ultimate podcast. After I get my
I look around and everything is just like you see Kratos.
We'll just become average down the line with everything.
We're gonna talk about how $70 games are okay. We're gonna talk about it's $10
and
extra
if you want your
fees
voices
are
heard.
great. We're gonna talk about
And I hate renting games.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how anybody cannot get Game Pass for nothing. Just do your rewards, 135,000
You're just renting your
a year.
games, Lupa. You're just renting.
No,
them,
but I
so.
love renting my games because then I can play them and give them the fuck back.
Yeah, Game Pass is great because a lot of people don't realize that you don't just get all those games, you get the perks for those games. Like last year when we were all shut down because of the pandemic, there was 3 times that there was a delivery service, free delivery inside Game Pass.
Yeah.
Grubhub and something else I can't remember. They've had Spotify Premium in there. They've had
4 months you can get
appearance items for multiple games. Plus, not only that, you get to do the Game Pass quest and those rewards, which Asa didn't know a whole lot about. When I watched the podcast last Saturday. But I paid $3 for Assassin's Creed Valhalla, the $120 edition. And then I paid like $25 for the Xbox Series X Call of Duty. So Game Pass is great.
Yeah, and Chris, I don't ever pay for Game Pass. I paid the initial £1. After that, I never pay for it. I use my rewards every year. I don't have to worry about it. Bing bang bosh, easy peasy.
Bing, bang,
and
bosh.
anybody who doesn't
Bing,
want to
bosh.
save money must be like twisted in the freaking head. That's all
I just got 3 months of Game Pass Ultimate with my rewards today. Actually, I was like, oh, I need to activate this. I got freaking points.
Yeah,
I always use those points to buy games.
12 months last week.
Somebody recently
I posted a picture of my chair with the Game Pass thing, and I got a free chair.
Yeah, lucky you.
I got 6,000 points back for Scarlet Nexus too, so that was awesome.
Yeah,
that was
Same
amazing.
The
Just for
thing is
pre-ordering
as
it.
well, like I went in and saw my perks, like Chris was saying, I can get Space Jam for free, so I did.
Yeah, I got that too.
I mean, why not? It's free. Anybody who doesn't like free stuff, well, need to move somewhere else.
you
Not
can
get
also
out
buy
of gaming.
hardware and accessories with those points too. Like you go to the Xbox store, you can get that 1 terabyte
We're turning
SSD
into a Game
expansion
Pass.
card.
Yeah, I got that.
right now.
I got my controller with my points, so hey, nothing wrong with that.
And this is brought to you by Microsoft Rewards.
Microsoft Rewards.
We are
People
not
need to
getting
learn
paid for this.
about.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get a
do
share if I
Psycho-
post my rewards thing.
What Psycho and me was doing the last stream.
I don't want to share. It's all right.
We are not. We like Game Pass. Game Pass is great.
Yeah.
And we are not affiliated with Microsoft.
It's so funny because my chair tweet. Somebody replied to it like, "Oh, is this an ad? This is you blah blah blah." And I was like, no. And then like somebody else replied to it, and they were like, "I have played Xbox for many years. I have played every game on Xbox, and I can tell you that the OP post is definitely an ad." And I was like, "Whoa." Hold on, dude. I'm like, no, that wasn't an ad. Like, I'm like, haha, it's a joke. And he's like, and this guy came back at me and he's like, so you're saying that the Twitter algorithm put a whole bunch of Game Pass, the same exact message on their algorithm under games, and it's a joke? Haha, I don't think so. And I'm like, no. Like, that's literally what it is, dude.
I just don't understand why anybody thinks we're reading ads for something amazing. It's,
exactly.
Game Pass for
We are
$9.99
not
a month, which is
affiliated
100
with
games.
Yeah, $9.99.
It's
We're all
is it only $9.99
when we see one?
That seems
No,
pretty
don't wait.
unbelievable that it's only $9.99 per month with
Game
all
Pass
of those games.
Ultimate.
Yeah, but the thing is, we're all tight asses, and we got to save a penny here and there.
So I wanted to call out somebody else as well, since we're in the spirit of calling out, because somebody was giving a few of our panel members crap for turning off their cameras in a weird way.
Arsehole.
Like I know that you like to see my wife's beautiful face, but if she has to turn off the camera and go make some popcorn for my daughter or something, like, go fuck off if you have a problem with that. So anyway,
Who said that? Wait, what happened?
They said
Lana.
like
Lana,
either
Lana,
keep your
Lana.
camera on or off or F off.
Yeah.
Oh,
Some
wow.
podcast.
We got
Some
some angry
podcast.
people in here.
Yeah,
Jesus,
that was-
people.
Dude,
Mark,
that's funny.
Lana, ooh.
It's Friday. This is Xbox
Kate and I are
Ultimate.
the only people who have like, oh, and Psycho, we've turned off our. You guys just like staring.
Must have
Don't
brought
be
him with me. I'm
creepers.
sorry.
yeah, it's weird. Like, hey, we're human beings that actually like
What's
Just
going
here
on?
to talk about
Maybe he's
games.
having
You
a,
know?
well, maybe he's having a pop at me because mine's never on.
Right?
Well, I don't give a shit, matey boy.
It's funny.
I'll
I've seen
keep
it
my
happen
camera
before.
off as much as I like.
Yeah, no, that's not fun. I've seen it happen to my friend Tinks, who had to turn off her camera and go to the bathroom, and somebody was like, "Oh, why don't you want us to see you? Leave."
Yeah.
And I'm
I
like,
mean,
because I don't want
that's
you
sick.
to see me. And then I did it a couple weeks ago where I got up and I went to the bathroom without turning my camera off, and then I had like messages like, "Hey, you forgot to turn your camera off." I'm like, "Well, I'm sorry. You guys had to stare at my chair." Oh.
The only one I
You're
want to turn their damn
chair.
camera off is 3-Bit because he makes me look like an oaf.
Oh my god, 3-Bit's like model over here.
And you say oaf?
Yeah, I'm
An
an
oaf.
oaf. I'm like Shrek.
Oh.
I'm an ogre.
You're like an ogre.
Yeah. and you're like Sir Justin.
I'm just like
Sorry,
white as for my light is so off tonight. I can't even fucking get with it. So sorry, chat.
Anyway, guys, we are on camera just because like I think it's fun to actually connect with you guys and have fun with this, where we can see each other too. So, but like if we have to turn our camera off, who cares? Also, all right. So moving on from
Fucking
non-topics, let's move on to something actually interesting. The Ascent. I wanted to give this game a little bit more attention. The Ascent is coming. Right at the end of this month, so we're in the month of the Ascent. So we are ascending to the Ascent right now.
Ascending to the Ascent month.
So is there anybody else excited about this game? Because I know I am. I looked
You
up
already
some more,
know, Mav. You already know.
I looked up some more information just to share. Okay, so the game, the main missions alone, supposedly are 15 to 20 hours long on this thing.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know. Like you say, like indie Game Pass, all these things, all these like stuff that have certain connotations to them, and then people start assuming things. Now you add 15 to 20 hours for just the main missions. You're thinking, okay, this is a pretty big game, right? Then it looks gorgeous. They got loot and all these other things. It's also local co-op too. I did not know that.
Yeah.
You have local or online options, which not many games have that. All right. And then on Series S, it is running at 1440p, 60 frames, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So,
is that guy talking about me? The Decker
We'll see.
guy?
Why don't you clarify?
Don't know. Yeah, but
He's the
that's
same
fine.
one that said the stuff about Asa, right?
Yeah, I just removed that. It's fucking
Oh, I was about to. So good job.
So as far as the Ascent, I think it's going to be pretty incredible. And I think it's one that's like, I think there's some hype for it and people are excited for it, but also it's a little under the radar. Is anybody else here that's super excited for that?
Me.
Oh,
You already know, brother.
I'll be
We've been
real.
talking about this
I'm
forever.
looking forward to playing it with you guys because it's just an awesome game. I mean, it might be an indie game, but oh my gosh, is it full of stuff. It's like, you go in this world and it's like, you've got like it's corporate run metropolis. I can never say that word. And, there's the sky's filled with creatures and it just looks so cool.
Oh,
And I'm really looking forward to it. And a twin
particle
stick
effects
shooter.
everywhere.
Yeah, and you've got the destroyable cover, being able to hide
Environment.
behind things, environment. Yeah, you could shoot up and down as well, which is really good in a shooting game for a change. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, especially in the twin shooter, you got you're not just aiming what's in front of you. You can aim up and below,
Yeah.
so it's like almost like a 360-degree environment. So you can shoot wherever. And the game looks amazing. It's 4K 60 with ray tracing on the Series X, and particle effects look awesome. The game looks amazing. And you can experience on Game Pass for the low monthly price of $9.99.
But you've got really impressive enemies, but you've also got really unexpected alliances you can make as well, which is really cool. And you've got skills, you can upgrade yourself, you can get stronger, you've got abilities, and you can play in whichever lifestyle you choose, like play style you choose to play in. So like everybody's different. You can play in the play style you wish to play in, which is Really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Silence is
It's like
golden.
kind of like a hybrid game too. Asa, are you familiar with the Ascent? Are you looking forward to it?
Definitely, yes. It's one of the first ones they showed in the original Series X trailers way back as coming to Game Pass, and it's looked really good ever since. Just all they need to do is show a few of those grenades and the damage that it does, and I'm like, yeah, I want that. I like a game like that's the Diablo kind of mold. This is obviously guns instead of spells, but as long as there's a nice at the very least, I'll play through the campaign.
Right.
If you've got interesting builds to experiment with from there and a good loot system, then I'll probably play it for a lot longer. But yeah, it looks really good.
Cool, man. What about you, Chris?
I know me and some of my friends are definitely excited to play. We used to go to a game shop locally when we were younger, and we used to, play Diablo. So big into that style of gameplay. So I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Right on, dude. Cool, man. And then unless anybody else wants to chime in on the Ascent, I got one more that I thought was worth talking about.
Yeah, I'll just say I'm looking forward to it. It looks really good. I seen a lengthy gameplay demo that they showed, and every time I see the game, they seem to improve upon it, and just slowly the graphics and the setting. I love cyberpunk. Anything cyberpunk. The setting. Yeah, love it. Anything with those colors, red and blue, and you make it look awesome with like neon lights, and also some of the combat and the amount of particles in the screen looks freaking awesome. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and that game always reminds me of Replaced also, which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking forward to the
down.
2D, 3D aspect.
Yeah.
How it's
Of Replaced,
change.
yeah. That's gonna be cool. But yeah, Ascent, I'm definitely some of the abilities that they were showing off. It looks really fun.
No.
And anything co-op. I'm like a co-op person, so playing with some friends.
Done by a
they
team of what, 14, 11, 14, whatever it is.
Yeah,
it's incredible. Incredible work.
Ooh, now, are they going to be using Dolby Vision as well for that game? Is that one of the games that they're going to be utilizing?
I've heard something about Dolby Vision, but I'm not sure. I gotta look into that.
All those colors in cyberpunk setting is going to pop with Dolby Vision. Oh, that's going to be just amazing. Good looking.
Yeah, for sure.
Who's gonna pop? What's happening?
Matt.
Huh?
Hi, Matt.
Hi.
How's
Sorry, I
it
got
going?
distracted trying to do something. So also, guys, the last thing I wanted to talk about, this will be our last topic, and then we'll also announce the giveaway winner as well.
Yeah, Asa has to sleep.
Yeah, Asa has to sleep. I know.
I'm sleeping as we go in between topics. It's all good.
You're sleeping between topics. So nice. That's great. So I thought it was interesting because there's been some criticism going on from like some fanboys and other stuff about Phil Spencer's comments about Halo Infinite and this interview he did with I think it was with Podcast Unlocked. I think it was that one where he said that Halo Infinite is not necessarily make or break for Xbox, right? And they kind of took that as like, oh, he's not confident in the game now. You know what I mean? So and shout out to the fanboys out there. This is now, as you can see, I turned on my lights blue at PlayStation Podcast. So I'll change it back to green real quick just for this topic. So fuck y'all. Yeah. So the point that I think he was making, and the reason I want to bring this up, is that it's actually a position of strength now for Xbox, that they're not solely having to rely on the success of Halo as their only big chance game to really drive the platform, right? And that's where he's coming from, where because Halo's always been this game that has had all this pressure on it, right? Everybody's like, oh, Halo needs to do this or else Xbox won't succeed, or Halo needs to be this, or Halo needs to be that, right? But because Xbox now has all of these other games in their pipeline, all of these other dev studios, all of these other creators that are like founders of genres even, right? Like you have like crazy talent here with different engines that they own. You have it's so much more now that, okay, where Halo was like stood so far above everything else, now you have other IPs like Elder Scrolls, like Fallout, these other massive popular franchises that are part of the Xbox ecosystem, to where Halo doesn't have to stand alone by itself anymore to push the platform. It is now more equal ground, right? So if, let's say, Halo wasn't as successful as they wanted it to be, it's not make or break for Xbox now, right? They've never been in this position before. And that's a position of strength, not weakness. And that does not mean they're not confident in Halo. He's just being honest in the fact that, hey, like, there's more to Xbox than just Halo now, right? Yep. So that's where I think that these comments kind of got misconstrued from some people, and people ran with this narrative in the wrong way. Thoughts? Lupa, you go first here.
Well, I just think that I've heard Phil say that he doesn't mind. He doesn't particularly go after a genre of game. He wants. He doesn't care if we say there isn't a specific type of game there that we want. He'll just get what he thinks is good and have his studios, make what they want to make. So I don't think he honestly believes that there is any, I think he wants it to be good. I think he wants it to be a big event, if you like, because he likes it himself, and it is a game that is Xbox through and through. So I think that he wants it to be awesome, but he's not bothered if people bitch on it, because that's what people do.
Yeah,
just fanboys do that. So I don't think he's pinning all his hopes on everybody loving it, is what I think is the point.
Yeah, Chris, are you you're not like the biggest Halo guy, right?
I am a gigantic Halo fan.
Are you? Okay, I did not know this. So okay, this has me
now
more
we
excited.
know. Where have you been on Halo nights?
Yeah,
what the fuck, Chris?
I'm usually extremely busy on Friday nights.
Yeah, he's at work.
And then the Fridays I'm off, I play in competitive Magic the Gathering tournaments on Fridays normally. So
nice.
I skipped out on that so I could be here tonight.
I call Magic Planes.
But I think people are always just looking for that next big headline. Hate garners views, and I don't think Phil Spencer really cares too much about what people like. He cares what people think, but I don't think he cares those specific fanboys hating on Halo or any other specific game. I think Phil's completely confident in Halo. I think now obviously he's playing it, so I think he knows it's going to be good, and he just wants to show his studios that he's kind of got their back and he's confident in them, because it's already pressure enough working on a game as big as Halo anyways. Why put more pressure on somebody?
Yeah, and now Xbox doesn't have to, like Matt was saying, doesn't have to rely on the successfulness of Halo. That they have other IPs that are juggernauts as their own. So they have multiple titles. They have strength within Microsoft Studios that Halo and Gears and Forza is not the backbone of Xbox like yesteryears. I mean, truthfully, back in the Xbox One era, now there's so many titles coming down the pipeline that is just juggernaut after juggernaut.
I mostly just took it as just dismissing some hyperbole, because the talk around how important the launch of Halo is, obviously it's a massive game for Xbox, and obviously the fans are really looking forward to it, and there's the potential to disappoint them if it goes wrong. But of course, it's not the end of that IP. It's a massive IP. It's not suddenly going to die overnight because of a bad game. Like, he's just saying, don't be silly.
Yeah, he did also say that it's going to be, they're invested into this game for 10 years, regardless of how it's received at launch, right? Like, they're basically saying, and that's not, he's just basically saying, like, they're committed to Halo, right? Like, because the question was like, if it's not received well, or if like, where are you? Like, it's a commitment. Like, they're committed to the fan base, just like at what they did with Master Chief Collection, right? With how that was received at launch and where it is today.
Another game I've been playing on my PlayStation this week. Sorry, carry on.
Master Chief Collection.
On your PlayStation.
Oh yeah.
Could you imagine if that came out on PlayStation? That would be amazing. Pong, I saw you say, chime in here.
Oh, no, I was just going to say that, like, just watching that whole interview, number one, I can't believe how awkward IGN interviews still are. I just, like, it's, dude, it's like, come on, you guys are supposed to be like the professionals, and it comes off so bad. Their questions are awful. It's just ridiculous. But anyways, as far as the exact statement that Phil made, I think, again, I think that, that, you know, 343 has had enough pressure, right? Obviously, not having it last year was a huge disappointment. I think you could still see it on Phil's face. They really wanted it last year, no matter what, at the end of the day. Obviously, this year has been done wonders for the game, but I think it was an overall disappointment. That team has been under the gun enough, and Phil's not going to go out there and start going, oh my God, I've been playing it and it's the greatest game ever. It's the second coming of, you know, everything. And this is, you know, he's not going to do that to the team.
Yeah.
You know, number one. Number two, he understands that Halo is so big, has such a gigantic fan base, that you're never going to make every single person happy, right? There's always going to be somebody who just does not, you know, think that the game is pulled off well, and he gets that. So he's not going to jump the gun and go out there and, you know, claim that all of a sudden, you know, he's not going to say something stupid like Halo's back, you know, forget 4 and 5, we're back to 3 again, you know, 2, this is the ultimate, right? He's not going to do that. He's just simply not going to, because he understands that there's still going to be people that come down and rip upon it and shred it and whatever else, and the team just does not need that extra pressure. They are doing what they need to do. He's obviously happy with everything that's been going on. You could see it when he was talking about it, what he plays and how it feels to him when he's playing the game, exactly what we all got just from watching the trailer that they put out, right? I think that that's what he was expressing was, look, we were really happy to see that everybody that watched the trailer, you know, came across with the same feelings that I'm actually getting it while I'm playing it. It feels like Halo, like that. You know, that's what he wants everybody to know coming out of that interview. And I think he did a great job with it. Fanboys, whoever, clowns, they're going to always twist it into something else, no matter what he says. And so it is what it is. But I think he did a great job of being level-headed with it, saying, yep, it's, you know, it's coming along great. We think it's going to be really good. Yeah, it's going to be Halo. And you know what? Not to worry about it. No matter what happens, we are planning on Halo being here for a long time to come. So nobody worry about any of that garbage, right? That's basically what he's saying. This is not a make or break kind of game for them. That's all he was saying, which I think was appropriate. So
yeah, I mean, I think that's appropriate for any game when you're looking at it from a thing like it's not your make or break. I think Halo is kind of on a precipice in a way, like we had these last, you know, Halo 5, whatever. I mean, there's some kind of you know, fillings there for the Halo fan base, but I feel like we in general as Halo fans are looking at this new Halo in like a new kind of light, because it's bringing things that we haven't seen before. We have the battle pass, we have all these things that are breaking into a new territory, and I think that it's just going to be amazing. And I think that at the end of the day, there's going to be like half of the fucking gaming community that shits on it. So, and Phil knows that because it's the fucking gaming community and he knows what's going on, and nothing he says is going to change anybody's perspective. Just like nothing we say is going to change anybody's perspective. So it is what it is. People will hate on it. Probably. Yeah, absolutely. There's not even a probability it's going to happen. So, but it's still going to be good, and we're still going to play it. So, and that's what matters.
I mean, everybody's reaction to the E3 multiplayer demo. I mean, all across podcasts, and everyone is excited. You can hear it in social media. Old school Halo players, new school Halo players are all enjoying what they saw. So I'm definitely excited to play it, and I don't think there is any issues. Yeah, free.
PvP is going to be free.
I mean, come on.
That's it. Again, it turns up something that you're just given.
Yeah. There's no worries. I mean, I know
I
3-bit's
just I
excited.
don't think Halo is encompassing of like all of everything that Xbox is anymore. Like that's not it. So I know diehard Xbox fanboys who have never touched or finished the Halo campaign. Like that's not even their thing. So I mean, it's just I feel like when people like put everything that Xbox is on Halo is such a like weird take.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because it's like everybody's different. We all like different genres of game.
yeah.
Yeah, and I want to say like with Phil's comments, what he's kind of saying is sort of synonymous with what people think about Xbox or thought about Xbox in the past, right? Where they relied on Halo, relied on Gears and Forza, and now they are having this catalog of just different titles, right? That we saw in the E3 showcase. And we've talked about how them buying a studio like Bethesda has really took the pressure off of different teams because they can deliver all of these different titles without just relying on those 3 games. Because let's be honest, in Xbox One, that's kind of what they were relying on in the past. And now they have just a mountain of different studios. So I do think that's where his statements do stem from there. But also at the same time, like Lady was saying, people's expectations for Halo is going to be all over the place. We're probably going to see really high scores and then really low scores just because of people's weird expectations with Halo. But I do think with this Halo Infinite being free to play is a great move for people who maybe wanted to try Halo in the past, but they're like, I'm not sure, but now it's free to play, so they have less of a thing against it. And also they're doing some things in this Halo. They are making it a little bit more open world, which the other Halos kind of wasn't open world, but they were very much open, so it's not like it's going to be like pretty cool. And then they have all these different multiplayer features, the battle pass, like I think Psycho mentioned, all these things in tandem of making this experience more fresh for the Halo franchise. I think a lot of people have always wanted, with 343's version of Halo, the older Halos, a bit of the older Halos, but finding a good way to innovate without just copying from like a Call of Duty franchise. And that's what Infinite is kind of doing, right? It's kind of taking what we liked about the Bungie Halos, but making it so it's more fun to play, and making we always hear from 343 making Halo feel like Halo again, and stuff like that. And what that means to me is some of the arena sort of mechanics, but also making it in a way where we have freedom to like throw a bomb at somebody, like, you know, with the grapple hook, and being able to hijack someone out of the sky, and all of it. It's like on an open battlefield. It gives you options. So the Halo is just very different from a Call of Duty or Battlefield. So it's going to compete, I think, at a different level this year, more so than any other year before that. When Call of Duty was really coming up and people wanted something different, you know, Call of Duty was the thing. Battlefield, you know, it's in a interesting category as well, for when Halo was a thing. But now this is a really good year for Halo to come out. I think people are ready for it, and it's going to be very, very cool. I think I'm a huge Halo fan, so I'm a little biased, but I think what it's doing with Infinite is just appeasing people who don't even care about the Halo franchise.
Don't you have a Halo helmet?
I do.
Is it a thing?
Yeah, that's the thing.
And don't forget, it gives all the people 3-bit who don't play or casuals to join and play because of the training aspect. I can get to train and get as good as you.
Yeah.
In my wildest dreams, but you know.
I was gonna say Lupa, but I didn't want to be rude. You know, I'm just kidding.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, I know what you really think.
Yeah. No, on drunk bit nights, I think we all have a
Yeah,
chance.
I might have a
right?
chance on drunk bit.
We drunk
I
bit.
did kill
I'm
him
drunk
3
bit.
times in a row, but he was on the
Damn.
Hexen at the time.
Considering he starts killing his teammates when he's had a few too many, then I think he
Yeah.
has a chance.
Oh, it's gonna be a fun night, guys. We're in for a good time. It's so funny because talking about Halo and you brought up Battlefield and Call of Duty. I was in a chat the other day. It was on a Boom shows, and I wasn't like getting into it with somebody, but they were like, "You can't compare Halo to Call of Duty," and I'm like, "Well, what do you compare Halo to?" Like, if you're not comparing it to another online shooter, like, and I get that there's totally different aspects there. But like, what do you compare Halo to? And somebody was like, you compare it to Destiny. I'm like, whoa, no, you don't compare Halo to Destiny at all, because when you're looking at Destiny, you have specials and you have such an unbalancing of everything in Destiny that you cannot compare something like Halo to Destiny. Destiny's in its own fucking weird world over there. But when it comes down to Halo and you're comparing it to like a first person or just like a shooter PvP environment, like everybody thinks of Call of Duty. Like, that's what you do. Like, I mean, that's where you're at. And like, I wasn't getting into it with this guy, but I was also like kind of getting into it. I'm like, well, then give me something to compare it to, please. Like, give me something to compare Halo to. It's its own category, but if you have to compare it to something, like you're comparing it to Call of Duty in its PvP aspect. Like, I mean, there's nothing else out there. Like, if it's going head on head with anybody in the indie industry this year, like, it's going head on head with Call of Duty. I
think
right?
so. I think for some people, the reason they do that, because when people compare Halo to Call of Duty, sometimes they're comparing the wrong things, right? Or
like the campaign and shit, that's totally different.
Well, they're comparing the shooting mechanics, so, and that's where
But
it's like,
even that's totally different.
This guy said it was a sandbox. He's like, this is a sandbox shooter, and I'm like, oh, okay, but
so like you can completely compare a lot of things. Like, you can compare popularity. You can say which one is more fun. You can say like which one has the best online. But when people like that are comparing like to Halo, sometimes they will go into like, well, you know, Halo needs to be more like Call of Duty because Call of Duty has this, or I don't like that you can like survive too long in Halo, or you know what I mean? Like, there's these different things where they compare it, and it's because they want Halo sometimes to be more like Call of Duty, and that for me has never worked. When like you try and make Call of Duty more like Titanfall, right? It like kind of was weird and it didn't really work. Or you try to make like Halo like Call of Duty, it made Halo not as much Halo. It didn't really work, right? Or you make like each one of these games, like Battlefield, Call of Duty, Halo, Titanfall, all of these big first-person shooters that have these campaigns, multiplayers, they like are so unique that a lot of times, there's a lot of fair comparisons. So when people say you shouldn't compare at all, that's completely wrong, because there has to be a bar or something to hold it to. But when you start comparing mechanics and say that this game is this game needs to be more like that game because this game is more fun, well, that's their opinion, because that's the kind of game that they like, right? You don't need to turn every game into the game that you like, right? Because there's a game for different styles of gamer and also different types of shooters. Like Halo is so unique with the shooting that you can't really compare.
It's like a chess match. Like when you're shooting somebody, it's like it's not an instant kill like when like a Call of Duty game. It's kind of like when you're playing SWAT in Halo, right? Where it's just kind of like shoot somebody, done. But that's sort of how Call of Duty is. It's more so about like who shoots first and then sort of messing around, and it's all about like your reaction time with Call of Duty. But with Halo, it's more so like if you get shot, you could like turn around and like, okay, well, if I move this way, maybe he'll miss the next shot, and then you could sort of like go in this back and forth sort of.
I mean, I get that aspect. I'm just, when it comes down to the end of the day, when you're looking at Halo and you're looking at Call of Duty and you're looking at numbers, like that's where they're looking. They're looking to compare themselves to like who's going to play Halo, who's going to play Call of Duty, who's going to play Battlefield. Like those are the three big hitters. Like you can't say that they're not. Like, I mean, and somebody like brought up like Fortnite and stuff. I'm like, okay, now we're getting into like some battle royale kind of like fucking weird shit. Like you can't even bring that into the Halo argument. Please step back. Like we've been no.
Yeah,
it's not a thing.
I agree with brother Pete HTK. You can't compare Halo to anything as it defined a genre, but you can compare other games to Halo. Completely agree.
And I guess when people stop liking Halo, right? Like with at least Halo 5, the most divisive Halo, I would say, it started taking elements from Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Right. It started taking
That turned me off.
like the loadouts and like the sprint and all this other stuff. But I think with Infinite is just in an interesting boat because it's innovating with its gameplay mechanics
in a
but
Halo way.
In a Halo way,
right?
Yeah,
exactly. So. And that's what's important because when people say Halo needs to evolve, right, to make it more fun for me, it's like they just want it to be like the other first person shooter that they enjoy playing is what they actually mean, which is like, okay, I want aim. For example, when they implemented certain mechanics like aim down sights and all these things, right? Like which I can make you can make a case for or against that, right? But doing certain things can completely change the way the game feels at the same time, to where I think that it becomes not what it was, and that can turn off players that have loved the franchise and make it not really for anybody anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So,
I'll get you. I get it.
Yeah, like how Psycho has the gameplay, so we can see what we're talking about.
No, I've been enjoying my background for the last.
But comparisons are completely fair.
I think they're. I mean, that's me. I just feel like you can't like say that Halo's completely on its own, like it's untouchable. I'm like, that's just silly to me. Like you can't say that in a PvP shooting environment. Like you can't say that there's not any kind of like, pressure there. Like me as a gamer, like I feel like it's always been like, are you a Halo player or are you a Call of Duty player? Like, because I mean, generally there's a line there. A lot of people are either one or the other. Like it's like they enjoy one or the other. Like, I mean, I know I enjoy Halo. I still play Call of Duty every once in a while, but Halo is more my preferred play style. And I think that's for most gamers. Like you're going to like one or the other more than the other.
Right.
So.
Everybody has a preference on everything.
Each game has a different mechanic than the other. So, I mean, I prefer, Halo's mechanic over Call of Duty's.
Which is like why I really wanted them to embrace what makes Halo Halo, right, this time around, because like people like Halo for a reason. People love it for its story, its art style, and its gameplay. So I love that a lot of what 343 is saying, what they keep reiterating is like making Halo feel like Halo again.
So I think we all agree that Halo is the best. I'm just kidding. And comparisons are completely fair for anything. You know what I mean? And then comparisons and then saying a game needs to be like something else is completely different. That's the main difference there. All right, so we have had two amazing guests. We've had a lot of awesome conversations, and we've had one giveaway. And who won our giveaway, baby?
We had 23 people enter, and the winner is Hellboy.
Is
he Last Emperor?
Last Emperor.
No? Okay.
Yeah, Last Emperor in the chat. He said we can keep calling him Hellboy. He shows up here all the time. Well, sometimes with a different name, so it's hard to keep up with. But Hellboy, congratulations on winning a $20 Xbox gift card. Gonna send you the Kate was gonna send you the code in DM, and congratulations, sir. Now, also to our amazing guest here, first time on this podcast and also second time podcasting period. It was Chris Jones. So shout out to you, dude. I want to make sure everybody can find you on Twitter. So and thank you for always hanging out to watch our content. And if you want to come back on sometime, we'll reach back out to you and see if we can get you on another show, bro. So tell everybody where they can find Mr. Chris Jones.
I want to say thank you for having me on for my second podcast ever. I was talking to Slow Mo Backslap earlier in the week, and he's like, "You just need to dive right on in, man." And what a better group of people to dive into the podcasting world with 8 of my
Dive
favorite.
right in, Chris. Come on.
Eight of my favorite people. Yes, I'm including Asa. 8 of my favorite people. For my second podcast, it's great to be able to do it with Asa. I watch GameOnDaily every Saturday. It's one of the ones I don't miss. So thank you for coming on my second podcast as well. But you can find me on Twitter, CUnit123123, and Xbox, CUnit123123. And once again, thanks again, Mav.
Yeah, man. Super glad to have you here, man. And you did a great job as well, bro. And a shout out to, before I forget, Snakewood with a $5 super chat. He said, "Great podcast, guys and gals." Well, thank you, Snakewood. You're also another great person out there in the community, supporting podcasts and having fun with the stuff that we do. Then we have this completely biased, completely like one-sided guy here that's just, he only talks about one thing, and he is, man, it's hard to listen to him and have him even on the show. Like, quite frankly, no, I'm just kidding. This guy has been such a great person to listen to on GameOnDaily with Go Live, and also with his tech breakdown videos that they do. The site that GameOnDaily is a site that features a lot of awesome content from all different sorts in gaming, and he's one of the masterminds behind that as well. So the multi-talented, multifaceted creator extraordinaire, who is super balanced, is Mr. Asa, or I should say Asa. Thanks for being here, dude.
It's Asa, definitely.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's Asa. Yeah, no, that was great. It's nice to, I've not met most of you on podcasts or elsewhere. Some of you I have, but it's great to have a chat with all of you. It's nice when we do the go live on a Saturday. I'm obviously producing, as it were, running it and flipping things around. So it's nice to be able to sit down and talk. You can find me when it's not 4:30 in the morning. My outro.
Yeah, you know how I feel every week, Asa.
Yeah. Lupa's our trooper here. Yeah, and check out GameOnDaily, guys. It's a really great website. And in fact, when I don't forget to, I put this podcast up on their site as well. So super supportive site. And
they bring up chat constantly during the thing. It's more games than news. It's just talking and bullshitting about what we're playing. So it's a fun time. You guys should tune in.
Yeah, 100%. And the Hellboy right back at us with a $20 super chat. Thank you, dude. He just says he. So man, appreciate that. You're still getting your code, but you're awesome, man. Now also we have the extraordinary assassin Lupa. Hope you had fun, and tell everybody where they can find you.
Yes, I did. Thank you very much. And thank you very much to Asa and Chris for coming on. It's been an awesome show. We've had a lot of fun. And you can find me at Assassin Lupa on Twitter and Xbox Live. So I'll catch you all gaming, guys.
Absolutely. And then the wonderful mellow fellow from outer space that was a little bit more mellow and a little bit more fellow today. The amazing Psychonauts. What's going on, dude? Where can everybody find you?
Thanks, man. I want to say thanks for Asa coming out today. He was awesome. I watched GameOnDaily as much as I can on Saturday, seeing the sauce. It's been awesome. Chris Jones, thanks for coming on. You did great today, brother. And everybody in chat, you guys were on fire. You guys can follow me at social media everywhere, Psychonauts 8, YouTube channel, Gamer Chat Podcast, one word, Gamer Chat. You can find me crashing Pomon on Tuesdays with Lady, Brian, and Mike. And Wednesdays now, 10 o'clock, Fun Pop, and Fridays here, 9 o'clock Eastern PM with the Magnificent Seven. It's been a great show. Thanks, everybody. Awesome. Ready for the weekend.
You're awesome.
You are awesome, Psychonauts.
Finger guns.
I'm happy that Psychonauts had a great night last night. And Pong Soul,
Yes,
where can
sir.
everybody find the encyclopedia? Is it in the library?
Woo! You can check me out at Pong Soul on Xbox or Twitter, guys. Otherwise, tomorrow is going to be a triple header. So set your alarms for tomorrow morning because I, Steel Rain, and myself will be back with Living Split Screen at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time, 3 p.m. UK time. So wake up with us. Get your energy that you need. We got a lot to talk about. We are not centric over at Living Split Screen, so we got a lot of news actually this week to kind of discuss. So who knows? I don't know what Steel's going to want to rant about or what I'm going to want to rant about. So come check us out, Living Split Screen. Then tomorrow afternoon, right after Living Split Screen, basically, I will be on Bitcast with Season Gaming and Ains and Dan over there. That should be a great one. I don't think he's throwing it out on Twitter yet, but keep a lookout for that. I'll be on Bitcast tomorrow. And then tomorrow night, the Shop Podcast with PTK Blam, Centurion, Fuzzy Belvedere, and Stagorilla, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. Come check us out there. We've got Everborn Saga on tomorrow night. Awesome, dude. And then Sunday, I shall be on with the boys across the ocean, Green Pass Gaming, one of my favorite channels in the world. Come check us out there. I think they're on at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 o'clock Central. I can't remember that one. They haven't announced it yet either, but that'll be going out through the tweets as well. So that's Sunday. UK. Is it 8 p.m. UK over there? Okay, thank you.
That makes it 3 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 o'clock Central. I was right on. Thank you, Lupa, for confirming. I appreciate you. You are the encyclopedia of times, by the way. I love you.
Really.
She is. She's crazy how she does it. But Tuesdays, Xbox Factor podcast with Mr. Boomstick over at Double Barrel Gaming, Zemi Games. 3-Bit is now on that one as well, and myself, and that's Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time. But otherwise, you know what, guys? This was an incredible show. Chat was really lively besides the negative Nancy's out there, but whatever, we got rid of them. But chat was always awesome. Hey, Asa, it was amazing to finally be on a show with you, brother. You know how much I love and appreciate what you and Gaz do over there on GameOnDaily. Again, guys, I said at the beginning of the show, but it is criminally underrated. Go check those guys out. They have awesome guests. They have awesome content. Their website is amazing. Really fun time over there. So please go check them out. But Asa, it was amazing to have you on the show tonight. And Chris Jones, brother, nice job, man. Seriously, it ain't easy coming on the podcast, but you're doing fantastic, man. Doing a phenomenal job. So keep it up, man. It was great to finally be on a show with you. Obviously, we've been chatting it up for a long time and always appreciate all the support and love you've brought into the community. That's how you do it, that positive thing. That's the way I started out. And man, if you want to keep doing this, you definitely got talent, brother. So keep it going. Great show tonight. Family, love you guys. You know that. Miss you guys all during the week. It's been so busy lately. I really haven't been able to connect with you guys. So it's good to be here on Friday night and do that. So love you all. And we will definitely be seeing you guys real soon. So thank you.
Amazing. So lady, how many seconds was that?
243.
What, how many?
243 is what I counted to.
Okay.
So 4 minutes. It's not bad. It's not bad.
Perfect.
I had a lot to say. I had more to say than I normally do.
You do, man, because you got 2 shows a night. It's amazing. Incredible.
I just wanted to count just for shits and giggles.
I thought I saw that's what you were doing, and then I was like, okay, is she counting?
3-Bit caught on within like 30 seconds. He's like, you're counting right now. I'm like,
yeah.
I got hungry in the middle of it. We're just messing with you, Pong, dude.
I love you, Pong.
Yeah.
I just do it because I love you so much.
Absolutely amazing on every podcast that he's on, and we're just lucky and thankful that he is willing to share his time with us because he's only so little of it left.
Jesus, look at you. Now you're going on. Now you're extending it even
for
more.
The likes of us now.
Let's have another 4 minutes of Pong talk, guys. So Pong, 3-Bit, the most talented individual that I know. Dude, where can everybody find your stuff?
Everyone can find me on several podcasts. This is one of them every Friday, 9 o'clock. Thank you guys for coming. It's been a pleasure seeing Asa and Chris here. Thank you guys for being awesome guests. I haven't been on a show with Asa before, and Chris, do more shows. Good
Thanks,
stuff, man. You guys can find me on Xbox Factor every, what was that, Tuesday? I was like, when am I doing that? Every Tuesday, I believe, with the awesome Zemi and some other ones. I'm on several shows, guys. Fun Pop is another show I'm on. It's like a comic book, a show where we talk about comic books, we talk about movies that are coming out, basically pop culture, right? But in terms of my stuff, I am working on several game development videos that you guys can see starting next week, and some other videos that are coming to my channel. That is pretty much it. Twitter, the VGHD, YouTube, the Video Games HD. So that's how you guys can find me.
How's Abandon going?
That's so that's a whole thing, right? For those who don't know, I'm making a game called Abandon, and I own stuff for it. And then surprisingly, PlayStation's making Abandon. So that's a thing.
3-Bit started his long before PlayStation, just so everybody knows. 3-Bit has all the legit. That was long before that.
Yeah. Started it in like 2012, 11 or something like that. And finished it a couple times, and I was like, I want this to be better. So the production for that game starts off the end of this year in Unreal Engine 5. So that's when that will start development again. And I'm not changing my name, so we'll just have 2 Abandons. Like I said, we're just gonna have 2
you own
Abandons.
the rights, bro, so keep it. You know,
like I literally go to abandonthegame.com. It's my game. So we'll just battle it out. You know, I'll make
He's
mine
all
Xbox
part of the
exclusive.
conspiracy. Don't let him fucking fool you guys.
Kojima's his dad.
Silent Hill.
Yeah.
And don't forget to come out and play After Hours.
Yeah, we're gonna be
Ultimate
playing
Crew.
tonight. I'm playing playing Halo tonight. But just check me out online.
Do it.
Mav7. And I want to thank everybody in the chat. You guys again were incredible. And just see it flowing so fast. Everybody having great conversations. It always makes me super happy. And don't forget, everybody, you can check this podcast out on Google Podcasts or Spotify or Apple Podcasts, all those things, if you prefer to listen in your car or whatever. So I appreciate anybody that is an audio listener as well. And check out Fun Pop. Our new nights is Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern, so it's a little late. But we have a lot of fun talking about movies, and that one's a little spoilery sometimes, you know. But we like talking like TV shows with Marvel, DC stuff, and all that kind of stuff. So thank you, everybody. The Magnificent Seven, you guys are incredible. Our 2 guests, you guys are amazing, and we will see everybody again next week here on Xbox Ultimate Podcast. Later.
Later.
Gaming guys.
Play what you love,
Bye.
love what you play. Get out there and game. Golden age of gaming. Let's go.
Woo.